Oh yeah, he's back. The crack of the bat, the ping of the crossbar, and the roar of the crowd. We cover everything you want to talk about. It's the Rod Pedersen Show.
Happy New Year, Canada, and good morning if that's where you are here in Western Canada, and to Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show and our special New Year's countdown from year one of this wonderful program. I am your host, Rod Pedersen. He is the co-host, Darren DuPont. Look at this guy all shined up for New Year's Eve.
I'm excited. This is great. Counting down to 2020 and the end of the decade. So Happy New Year.
It is our special New Year's countdown show. But I don't know why it should be any different than any others. So I'll say that as we always open up the program with legendary teams, I guess we could say the way that we're dressed today, I'm James Bond, you're...
Where are you going?
Pussy galore.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll take it.
You should more be James Bond the way that you're dressed here this morning.
I don't know that James really has a sidekick. He's a one-man show, but
we're not.
We make it look pretty good.
Yeah, we're not. And I got to talk about what we're going to be doing here over the course of the next couple hours here today. We tell everybody to, although I got a bubbly here. They didn't pay for the sponsorship, but I have a bubbly lime soda water. I don't have coffee going yet, although I might a little later on in this program. But we're going to go through our top moments of 2019 here on the Rod Pedersen Show in what has really been, quite frankly, a fantastic year. And I think if people look at the smiles on our faces, they would realize that we've really enjoyed this.
I don't want it to end. The year.
No.
It's been, quite honestly, it's been the best year of my life, personally and professionally. It's amazing just to see back in January where we were at the beginning of the year. And you're always excited ringing in the new year, but I couldn't even imagine the things that happened over the course of the year. There's been ups, there's been downs, but this year really has been the greatest year ever. I couldn't have imagined how far I would have come personally and professionally. So I'm excited. 2020, I can't even imagine where we'll be this time next year.
Well, I see a lot of people on social media wanting to kick 2019 to the curb for a variety of reasons. A lot of them are family reasons, and I don't want to name those folks, but for myself, lost my mom on June 13th. Don't need to go down the road of how difficult that was. Huge change professionally, but as I tried to make clear to people as this show went along, it was a lot of fun for 20 years. This now is a change, and being voice of the Rough Riders was so awesome and something I'm so proud of, not just being the voice of the Rough Riders, but kind of being referred to as a CFL guy. I still wear that as a badge of honor, but this is something totally new. And I'm hoping to do this for the next 20 years. And people don't seem to realize, it's like, why aren't you scrambling to get into the booth somewhere with some other team? And I'm like, because this is what I want to do at this stage in my life. And actually, I want to thank you for the ability to do this, the invitation to do this, and obviously Paul Drouin, who I notice is not here today. But it's before we get into the best moments, because that's what we're here for today. The show was your vision, you and Paul, and can I ask you if it's gone the way that you expected it would?
You know what? It's funny because people often ask that, is this what you wanted it to be? And sometimes I'll be like, well, no, because I have high expectations. But when I think about where we are now, I couldn't have imagined it growing this fast and to get to this point. And the beautiful thing about it is that it grows organically. And I could have a path that's here to here, but we're going in all different ways, and we're going to see a lot of things that we didn't plan to see along the way that are really going to be awesome. And those are the memories on any trip that really matter, right? The unexpected things. If everything goes the way you planned, it'd be pretty boring. So I'm excited. This has gone way better than I could have ever expected it to. And man, the things that are in my head in terms of our path moving forward, I can only imagine what kind of detours we'll take.
Well, it's funny you say that, how things have gone on this program. And I'd like to think that a lot of our viewers and listeners have been with us since day one, but that's not really the case. We've got a lot of new viewers here as time moves along, and we'll have a lot more into 2020. That's maybe why this top 10 countdown of top 10 moments from the Rod Pedersen Show is kind of going to illustrate how things haven't necessarily gone the way that we planned. And in all cases, they've been 10 times better.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I had a CFL broadcaster say to me the other day, they said, what did he say? Because I told you, your golden ticket is the players promoting this show and latching onto this show. And that's a little bit of a tease.
Yeah.
For the top 10 moments that are going to come up here. But now we've got CFL players that I've never met before asking to come on. Right? And for whatever reason, promote their brands, get something off their chest.
Yeah.
In the case of Justin Renfro. But you're going to see with a graphic here coming up, just some off the top of producer Clark's head of the biggest names that we've had on this program so far through 146 episodes. The biggest names in sports in Canada. Yeah. I didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't either. I really thought this would be, 2 hours a day of you and me and our friends.
Which I'd have been fine with.
Abu and Duke and Lynch and Rems and everybody else who's come in, Marshall Hamilton and Phil Andrews, and the list goes on and on and on. But that's kind of what I thought. And I thought we'd get some players on the video chat. I never assumed we'd have the people rolling through here, or this would turn into the locker room, the clubhouse for players to come back to, and that they'd have so much fun. And the relationships that we've built along the way, that's the cool part.
Yeah, well, guys come and hang out here on days they're not even on the air. That's how much fun that they're having. We have created the locker room atmosphere that's kind of gone missing in the workplace and the sports workplace in 2019. So we're looking back at 2019, and we'll start with the number 10 moment of the year on the Rod Pedersen Show. And here's the problem. This is getting too polished. This show is getting too polished.
Well,
we need to go a little rough off script.
Let's do it.
How are we going to do this? Are you announcing the 10th?
No, go ahead.
No, you, because I have no idea.
Well,
how we should do this.
Yeah, I think
we're going to talk about it first, or air it first and come back and talk about it.
Yeah, so there's a couple. The first one we're just going to talk about.
Okay.
Some of them will have videos to go along with it, which is going to be awesome too. But let's announce. Yeah, go ahead. You can announce the number 10 moment.
The number 10 moment of the Rod Pedersen Show 2019 was Labor Day weekend and the All-Star Celebrity Charity Football Classic, with proceeds going to Regina Minor Football and the Regina Riot, and the accompanying pregame show before the Riders and the Bombers in a wild walk-off Rider win on a Brett Lowther field goal.
Wasn't that something? The whole weekend was really exciting. I mean, it started.
There it is.
There's the show we did. Can you imagine, to be right there with Mosaic Stadium in the background? Super cool. Gene Mikowski came on. Ray Jacobs. There was a few others. It was awesome. That's what it's all about. Rider game days, Abu. It was fun, and it's always the biggest day of the year, isn't it?
Ray Jacobs there, the former Calgary Stampeder, Saskatchewan Rough Rider, a donut eating contest, as Clark has informed me, and I'm not sure if we have photos of that or not. Now, look, people want us to do this pregame show every game, and I can tell you the Canadian Armed Forces, Royal Regina Rifles, want us to do it every game before a live audience, so expect that to grow. And then here, the football game, the All-Star Celebrity Football Weekend. Now, this stunned me, and I don't know if it was you or Clark behind this, asking all these players to come out and participate. That is an all-star roster right there.
That was a group effort for sure, and wasn't that fun? I mean, Rob Bresciani playing quarterback.
President of the Rider alumni.
He was awesome.
Can you put that back up, guys, for a second?
You said Jason Claremont was maybe the most excited guy. Well, he was catching passes from Noah Picton. Those two were dialing up plays, and that was really cool to watch. Jason's kind of in the middle to the right on the screen of Ray Jacobs there, and Noah Picton's kind of covering his face.
If I may, going from right to left, I can't name everybody, but Scott McHenry from the 2013 Grey Cup champion Riders, Neil Hughes, Mike McCullough, yourself. You see there Amanda Ruler, I think, in the front row, Dan Rasevich, Jason Claremont, Bresciani, Landon Bush, Rams grad, Mike Abu-Meshrik, Chris McKenzie.
Campbell Antonini was there on the right side.
Campbell Antonini in the ball cap, yes. The Lavoie sisters from Canada's Amazing Race, Joanne and Lauren, they were great. Kelly Rempel, the Silver Fox, as we move along. Taylor Shire from Global. Daryl Rommel from CTV. Derek the Duke Myers. You already mentioned Noah Picton. Did we have Mitch Picton? No, Mitch is still playing for the Riders. Maybe we'll wait a few years for that.
Chris McKenzie.
Right, Chris McKenzie.
Connor the intern.
Atlee Simon, currently of the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. We like to believe his performance in this game got him a contract in the Canadian Football League. And I know that I'm missing a few, but that's a pretty good idea of who participated in a game that went right down to the last play. When Darren said that it had to be Claremont that was the most excited, I ran down to the field after the game, and Claremont's like, next year, we're going to have cheerleaders, we're going to have sideline officials, we're going to have television coverage, boom, 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 boom. And I know that we could have that. And if you can just, I got to tell people how excited I'm. I didn't play in the game. People have to understand this. I'm in the booth, I'm running the music, I'm announcing the game, and I'm running the clock. 3 hands at once with a little help from Tyler Gross, our sales manager. That's what I've always wanted to do. Okay? I may look somewhat like an athlete. I never wanted to be. I wanted to be up there running the show.
Yeah.
And it was a show. And I thank the players for making it such a great game. And people left just dizzyingly happy.
Yeah, they did. And now they're planning this as part of their Labor Day plans for 2020. And what I can tell you is it's going to be even bigger and even better, and it's going to be a whole weekend. So there's going to be lots to do. It's going to be so much fun.
So where do we go from here? We go to moment number 9. Clark, you going to tell them this is what we're going to do? Okay, moment number 9. And we're gonna roll the clip here, right? It's the Players Show, the Players Only Show with Nick Lewis. And before we get to that, this was the day that we traveled to Houston on the inaugural Rod Pedersen Show VIP sports trip with Uniglobe LGI Travel and Michelle Shaw. And Nick Lewis had been a recurring guest in the program and said somewhere along the line that because Clark has all these discussions with the guys, not me. People are going to realize pretty soon that I have very little to do with this show other than putting my name on it and showing up and talking. You guys do all the real work. And Nick Lewis had suggested he'd like to host a show.
Yeah, and it worked out really, really well. And all of a sudden, it turned into the Players Show. We thought, we should get Kelly Rempel in here because he's been on the show and familiar and can really help him along. Kelly barely had to say anything on the show because Nick just took over. And with Charleston Hughes and the other guests you're going to see, it just turned into a fantastic 2 hours.
Well, Nick Lewis and the Player Takeover was moment number 9 of the Rod Pedersen Show 2019.
Hello, it is Nick Lewis, and we are live from Regina, Saskatchewan. I'm here on the Rod Pedersen Show. It's the takeover. We have the rollout for Flooring Superstore. It's going to be a great 2 hours today. I have some great guests in studio with me, Kelly Rempel, and the man Charleston Hughes, Sackmaster. I love podcasting. I love talking on the mic, and I love being in front of a camera. And yeah, this is my first time up here. It's not going to be perfect, but it is going to be fun. And I hope y'all ready to ride with me. How you feel about this year? I seen you on Twitter. You were talking about how you should win. If you don't win, you got robbed. How do you feel now?
I still feel robbed in a way, but when it's all said and done, they give it to whoever they deem they need to give it to for that particular year. The way I just view it as it should be based on, for all awards really, it should be based on that year's statistical stat line. So when you weigh that in and say, okay, who was hands down the best player who had the best stats for that particular season, that's what I feel like it should be weighed on. I mean, I was Defensive Player of the Month for 3 months out of 6 months of football. It is what it is. I'm proud of Willie. He deserved it. He did a good job this year. This was his highest statistical stat season as far as sacks go. He had a lot of knockdowns. He is the knockdown king.
he has nice interceptions too.
Yeah, nice interceptions. He's won a lot of games in the past, with that stat line. So, more power to him. He did a great job this year.
Well, we're going to bring in John Bowman, who went to the University of Wingate. He's an 8-time Eastern All-Star. He's got 134 sacks. Charleston said he can't believe you got 134 sacks.
Me either.
Last season, he had 45 tackles and 8 sacks. Welcome, John Bowman. Does your body feel like you're 25?
It does just on game day. But just like day 0 through 3, I feel like I'm 40.
I get that, but I'll take the credit for all the spin you've been doing lately, keeping you in shape and keeping them legs right. I know you've been watching this, and this I call him Hallelujah, and you hear Luka Magic.
That's a good name.
Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Hey, that's what I'm saying.
I like it.
What's up for next year, man? What's up? You know, I got to ask you.
I need to hear this too.
What's
now.
up for next year? Charleston's 4 sacks behiund you.
Yeah,
so he says
I
you
need to
got
know
3
this.
games after you retire to keep that.
This is he coming back. You see how he's shaking his head.
Charleston, every time I breathe, he's right there behind me. So I don't have much breathing room. Again, it's not up to me totally. It's up to Montreal to see if they want me back.
They love you over there.
They love you over there. They do, but they loved a lot of people too.
You like the AC of the defense.
Football doesn't love anybody. So I'm just gonna see, like, once the coaching staff and the ownership and GM situation is settled, I'm gonna go in and see if there's a role for me, if they want me to come back and stuff like that. I'm just grateful, honestly, and I say this truthfully. I'm grateful to be in a position where I can have input on whether I want to play or not, because a lot of players don't get a chance to say, "Hey, I'm ready to quit." A lot of players are kicked out way before they want to quit.
Got to get that money. You know, you breaking the bank. You getting that quarterback money. New money.
I wish.
No, I appreciate you for taking time
Vernon
out to join us here.
So he's got to do. Yeah, no,
I mean, I got like 5 quarterbacks on your roster right now, I think. So all of them can't get paid. Hey, well, I appreciate you for coming on, Bo. Hey, have a great day. Go hit some spin class and have fun. Hey, good luck next season.
I'm about to go. Thank you guys for having me. Happy holidays and Feliz Navidad.
I'm gonna pass you up next year.
I'm gonna keep playing.
Damon Allen, what's up? You know, Damon, I see here you're 3rd all-time in professional football in passing. 23 years of football, but the most combined passing and rushing yards at 84,301. And you know what? Your 11,920 rushing yards are only 323 behind your brother. Do you feel like you could have been a Hall of Famer in the NFL at running back?
I don't know if I would have been a Hall of Famer in NFL running back due to the fact because the physicality of the game and my size. And you first of all, you have to understand, when I first came in the league in 1985, I was only about 160 pounds playing.
I remember meeting Doug Flutie one time, and he came in the Calgary locker room right for a game, and he was all dirty. And I was like, "What have you been doing?" He was like, "Just finished a softball game." I'm like, "Doug, nobody slides in softball." And then me and you played in the Henry Barris All-Star game one year, and
That's
I seen
right.
you diving around and sliding around. And can you speak on just your competitive edge that it took for you to do the things you did on the field?
Well, I think that's all part of your passion and your desire to want to be as good as you possibly can.
And you're still so pivotal. Pivotal.
So, I mean, Andy came in a year before I did, and then Rob came in a year after I did. And then Weston was the American that was just tagged into the Canadian Air Force. But
he's from Bismarck. He's just close enough.
he's close enough. Yeah, that's right. That's right. He could grip the whole thing with his whole hand. He used to be able to hold a ruler in between his pinky and his thumb.
Oh, wow.
30-centimeter ruler. He could grip it with his pinky and his thumb.
That is nuts.
I mean,
Shout out to Andy Fenn, too. Henry Burris goes down in Hamilton. Jason Gesser comes in the game. And I remember Barado told him, he said, "Whatever you do, don't throw the field hitch." Tell us what happened when Jason Gesser came out there and threw the field hitch.
Well, Nick, as you know, the first time I let him get away with it, right? I let him test the water. So he threw the field hitch. I came up and I made the tackle. The second time he threw it, I took that thing to the house, 78 yards. It was a mistake that he made. He didn't make that mistake again.
Don't throw the field hitch. You remember those words, don't you,
throw
Gets?
the field hitch.
yeah, absolutely. I do. I mean, you're only throwing the field hitch if you're in cover 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Charles, can you say something in Serbian for us, please?
Let me see. I don't know what you want to hear. Dobra. That means good.
I don't know. Can
Ciao.
somebody confirm that? Can
Means
somebody
hi.
Google that and confirm with me if Charles is
Tisi
over
lepa
here?
dovojka.
What is going on? Hey, we got Ryan Phillips up here. Ron, can you hear me? I think Ryan's coming in right now. Hey, how's it going? Charleston's over here
It's good,
speaking
man.
Serbian.
Oh my gosh! You really, I just can't. I can't believe he really knows any words. I don't believe it. Man, I appreciate being on the show. Man, I'm actually surprised they let you take it over out of all people. But you know, I'm gonna make sure, you know what I'm saying, that the guys that, you know, have an opportunity, man, to coach and be able to play, man, take your career seriously. It's short span, man. Obviously, the guys there, man, you know, they kind of beat the odds, obviously, from that standpoint, because, you know, those guys have played a lot of years and a lot of football.
Is that new Bentley truck you in right now?
No, we ain't gonna put that out there.
In the famous words of Garth Brooks, when we're free to love anyone we choose, when the world is big enough for all different views, when we all can worship from our own kind of pew, then we shall be free. Stay classy, Regina, and stay golden, Pony Boy. We out.
CFL receiving king Nick Lewis, number 82, with the player takeover. It was the number 9 moment of the Rod Pedersen Show of 2019. And I don't know if at the end of this program or even now we'll talk a little bit about plans for 2020 for the show. I don't know where you want to go with this, but Nick Lewis kind of factors quite heavily into what we're going to do here in 2020.
Yeah, I think he does, for sure. So it'll be exciting. As the players get more and more involved, there becomes more and more opportunities and more excitement. I'm looking forward to it.
Can I ask you a question, by the way? How hard it was to come up with the top 10? I know we all kind of had a hand in it, but in the end, you were the guy that came up with the top 10. Because as I sit here and think about, because Nick Lewis came in here and said to Clark, Rod's going to love me by the time we're done, right? And, and Clark told me that, and I thought, what makes him think that I don't love him already? I don't have an issue with Nick Lewis. So I asked him about that, and Nick's like, the things you said about me? This is all on the sake of entertainment, Nick. Do you not understand? It's not personal.
So
it's not real. And as I think about all those little mini wars we had throughout the year, how the heck could you get it down to 10 moments?
I know. It's crazy. Do you think that a conversation like that will happen with Bo Levi when he retires?
I have no. That would be up to Bo.
Might be at the opposite. You walk in, Bo, by the end of this, you're gonna like me.
I don't care whether he does or not. That's the difference between the two. But I mean, one little thing that I like to drop in along the way on this show, and I know you guys, we got to get to a break here, but is the little life lessons along the way. God knows I've learned them the hard way, but I do work full time the rest of my time out of here coaching people in life. And one of those things is no relationship is beyond repair, ever. None. Never.
Time heals all wounds.
No, time does not heal all wounds.
Oh.
People heal wounds, not time.
Well, that's good.
Because I actually had a discussion with a guy not that long ago, said he's been waiting 60 years for a particular wound to heal. And it's going to take the other person to accept the apology and so forth. It takes people to heal wounds. And any relationship can be repaired, but it takes 2 people want to do it.
Yeah.
As long as there's one that doesn't, it's not going to be repaired. Any situation can be repaired. What's been done can be undone. What's been created can be uncreated. So there you go. Some year-end advice from the Rod Pedersen
I like
Show.
that.
It's a true story.
That's good.
So when we come back, the moment number 8 of the Rod Pedersen Show 2019, it is our New Year's countdown on Facebook Live.
Every sale held in 2019 has led up to our biggest event of the year. Ring in the savings with year-end clear-out at Capital Ford Lincoln. We're making a list and checking it twice of the biggest savings on brand new vehicles this holiday season. Get into a brand new 2019 4x4 F-150 for as low as $33,495 plus tax. And brand new 2019 Ford Escapes are starting at just $23,999 plus tax. It's the most wonderful time of the year at Saskatchewan's largest Ford store, Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
Direct West provides us with stats and analytics, and it's amazing for us to look and see that, you know, each year we're 10 to 20% higher on our Google leads. It's great to see the success that our locations are having. The Direct West app gives us an opportunity to be in one place for people to find any of our locations or our commodities. Without Direct West, we would have to be in multiple digital places. I would recommend Direct West. They're great to work with.
Hi, I'm Joshua John Batista. I'm a staff radiation oncologist at the Alan Blair Cancer Center. CT simulators are essential for all modern radiation treatments. Before a patient can undergo the treatment planning process, the CT simulator is the first step. So it allows us to plan and deliver radiation treatments for thousands of patients.
This isn't just a beer. This is a double-aged, never-back-down, full-of-heart Western beer. This is a beer brewed by 16 guys who risked it all. Original 16. Underdogs since 1989.
Rod's rant will be taken over by Kelly Rempel this morning for Bronco Plumbing and Heating, and my good friend Cam over there. Take it away on this.
Well, look, we've become so politically correct now, Rod.
And my wife's like, on the way home, she's like, does it feel weird being at the games? No! It feels like it's 1998 all over again, but way better. Now I see everything. So if anybody complains about this stadium or we shouldn't have built it or whatever, it feels so NFL. It feels so big time.
And I'm old and I'm not challenging anyone to anything. I get my ass kicked and everything like that. But you put him on a defense that played our 2000, 2001 Bombers, he's picking the quarterback up and saying, are you okay? Everything good? Yeah, I made it.
A booze
Big
rant
time, baby.
For Bronco Plumbing and Heating. Can all the staff at Bronco go in and tell Camco that we've got a couple of rants? It's right on your head there. That's great.
Well, but my point is, Rod, it's just I realize that I don't want to become that guy that's like, well, the world is changing, the times are changing with social media and all the special interest groups. You can't say anything, you can't do anything. Doesn't mean we have to like it.
If you were to look at this, I have in air quotes, actually in quotes, they disrespected us. The power rankings are out now, right? And I don't even look at them. I don't even look at mine. That's how little they matter.
Yep.
And people are mad that the Riders are 5th, 6th, and wherever. They disrespected us. Who cares?
Before, when
for 30 years
you got to drag him out by a rope and pile drive him out on the cement, but if you pick him up and touch him in his private parts, in his crotch, now all of a sudden, but you can't do that.
In Winnipeg, Andrew Harris, the player who was suspended for 2 games due to a positive steroid test earlier this year in August, wasn't voted most outstanding player nor top Canadian despite being the CFL's top rusher.
I am never going to tell another human being what they should value or what they should prioritize. But I will say that I am going to cheer my tail off for anyone who prioritizes giving back to a game that's been very good to them.
The PR guy for the Argos, Chris, really good guy, tweeting this morning, can't believe that people are unfollowing the Argos Instagram account because they supported the Toronto Pride Parade. And he said, what year is this? And this really got me going because a few Sundays ago we were driving past, I don't want to say where area we live in, so I'll just say driving down a road in Regina on a Sunday morning, and there was a car that had been vandalized. Windows smashed out and all kinds of anti-gay comments spray painted on the car. And my heart sunk to my toes. I'm like, where do I live? What year is this? What is wrong with people?
So this guy goes overseas, not with the same kind of teammates, has to watch the birth of his child on the iPhone.
Who really cares what people are saying about power rankings? They're subjective. If anybody really wanted to do it accurately, they would just take the records from 1 through 9. That would be the power rankings.
And while some of these other guys don't care enough to show up and help basketball in this country. Didn't we all like the Raptors? Didn't we all come together as a country? Yeah, we did.
This is very Winnipegish. What don't you get?
Where's Lynch?
He was suspended 2 games for using steroids. It's illegal.
So you can crush his vertebrae, but you can't kick him in the nuts.
This is interactive programming. We are live on Facebook on this Thursday morning. John Thomas Moore writes in and says, the show is getting worse than watching TV with commercials. That's what drove us to Netflix. So, John, I'm going to ask you right now, take your ass and go watch Netflix, please. You seem like a real negative jerk to me. Between who's the best team in the CFL, I still say it is Winnipeg. If you want to do a power ranking right now, talent-wise, I believe it's Winnipeg, and that's without Matt Nichols playing right now. They got that huge lead on Montreal, and they let him off the hook. Right? In the Dennis Green vernacular. If you want to crown their ass, then crown. I'll jump immediately to this because I'm sure we get a lot of Winnipeg viewers today. We're the only probably broadcast outlet talking about it at this time of day. Come on, Winnipeg. Step into our office. They're going to throw a fit over officiating and missed calls.
Hey, if you want to get treated like the pro hockey players, then do something about it.
So we still have to pay for this program somehow. And by the way, last I checked, you have to pay for Netflix, do you not? A monthly subscription fee, which they recently doubled.
Which I'm pretty sure this is free.
We're providing you free programming, so shove it. I watch with Popovich, and I scream at the TV, you prick! Answer the question!
Okay, like I give up.
Yeah?
I give up.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody, to our special New Year's countdown here on the Rod Pedersen Show, coming at you on Facebook Live. A lot of special things broadcast-wise coming your way in 2020. Darren Dupont is with me here as we get ready for moment number 8. But just before we do that, and as we roll along here today on our countdown show, I want to address something. Because I was reading to you something that I saw on either a message board or social media here before we went to air today, and it was that Rod's trying to be the next, what did it say? Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, Colin Cowherd. And we laughed. And I think for anybody, because there's members of my family that have never missed one episode of this show. And for Saskatchewan people that have had a front row seat of this wild ride that is my life, they know that I'm just being me. If you've been following for a long time, nobody's been following longer than my family. And when I was voice of the Riders, although I let it rip pretty good, I mean, that's when I think you started following me, was certainly during that era. Yeah. But now this is really me. Yeah. And there's no acting. And you've realized that. So I don't get offended when people say, oh, he's trying to be this. It's, no, I'm just trying to be me for the first time in a long time. Do you snicker when you see that?
That's what makes it great, is it's authentic. If it wasn't authentic, it wouldn't work. And that's what I think a lot of people don't really understand is, you know, we talk about these guys. Dan Patrick's a guy, everybody loves Dan Patrick, but that's authentically him. He's a guy who likes to have his opinion, but he does it in a very respectful way and whatever. But he doesn't really take really hard stances, and he gets along with people and tells good stories. Colin Cowherd, he's more of an opinion guy. And Stephen A. Smith really likes to go after people. And Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp really attack each other and have very polarizing opinions. What you do is what you do. It's authentic. It's not a gimmick. It's not an act. If it was an act, it wouldn't work.
People would sniff it out.
People wouldn't listen to it. So if you start wondering what works and what doesn't, authenticity always works.
Well, what I love about this show is, I used to have these little fights with Swift Current in Saskatoon. It's within Saskatchewan. They now either have realized how to put up with me or whatever, but now it's spreading to Winnipeg and then Hamilton, and then, you know what I mean? It's all new to them.
It's all new.
They'll figure it out.
And that's what's fun. Is we think it's tired, and it's like they've all heard the act, but there's always somebody new.
There's always somebody every day
who's watching for the first time.
So I just wanted to point that out, and you're going to see here in moment number 8. And I had to ask Clark here in the break, how did this play out again? Because again, the show's getting too polished, okay? This is not CNN.
No.
This is a Facebook Live show, okay? We're just having fun here every day. It doesn't need to be too polished. And the number 8 moment, Clark said, was when Andrew Harris was suspended for 2 games by the CFL on August 26th. I believe I got a notification on this Prairie mobile phone that it was going down. And Mike Abou-Meshrik happened to be in the bunker. You're going to see it here in moments. And it certainly wasn't hilarity that ensued. It was whatever the discussion was that ensued. And our take on the CFL's top rusher, a guy bound for the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, being nailed for steroid use. I mean, that's a pretty historic moment in the year.
Huge. Massively historic. And then for him to go on and become named top Canadian and most outstanding player in the Grey Cup. When Winnipeg wins for the first time in almost 30 years, that's pretty outstanding too. But yeah, it was such a polarizing moment of the season because you had players, you had former players, coaches, everybody, media, fans, all chiming in, all with a somewhat different opinion, coming at it from a different angle and perspective. It really was one of the top stories in the entire CFL season.
And as I want to point out before we play the clip, we have a parade of CFL alumni come through this bunker, particularly that week because it was leading up to the Labor Day Classic, Riders and Bombers. Not one of them, not one, believed Andrew Harris's contention that he didn't know what he was putting into his body. Not one. So we'll talk about it coming out of the clip. Here is the number 8 moment of the year. Andrew Harris, 2-game suspension for a steroid violation. Breaking news this morning. Bomber running back Andrew Harris suspended 2 games for a positive performance-enhancing drug test.
See, what I like about this show is that we can just tell it like it is. And
I would hope.
And not really wave any, shame on him for...
being politically correct.
With social media and with all the microscopes that players are under, people are getting caught now. It was never like this before. Child, please. Now just people are getting caught. It's becoming who can cheat the best. And I love Andrew Harris. Do I think this diminishes anything? No. He's a great player. They keep changing the rules on people and making things. I remember when I was playing, someone got a letter for Sudafed. They had Sudafed, and you can get. But this is D-ball. This is one of the
This is the big one.
This is one of the best steroids you can take. I mean, it's a steroid. And
so you knew what it was when you saw the name.
Well, I had an idea of. Yes, So then there's Andrew Harris, right? And he got caught for cheating, and it's just wrong. It's just wrong. But I can see what it is. I mean, back when I played, the stuff that's legal now that you can just go to GNC and buy, it was illegal then. I mean, you wouldn't think about taking it, but now the rules are whoever writes it, right? Like Red Bull, they sell it in grocery stores. Can you you drink too much. They sell it to children. So I hope it doesn't diminish his legacy. I can see how it happened. I mean, they test you on the first, and then a couple days later, you think you're kind of set, and then they catch you again, or they test you again and they catch you. I can see where that's coming from. I mean, this could be his last season. I feel like I'm just kind of throwing my ideas and not really elaborating.
Oh, I think we're all hanging on your every word. I know I am. Yeah. I'm hanging on your every word.
My thoughts aren't as pure as maybe some people might think they might be. It's his last season, going into his last year. Hey, you're going to have to sit out for 2 games when you're cut. Okay. That might not be a bad idea going into the second half of the year. All right. Let's. I'm sure it wasn't thought out that badly or that much, but there are certain levels, and high performance athletes. I'm not picking on Andrew Harris here. I'm telling you how it is.
Yes,
high performance athletes can afford the doctors to test their levels. I mean, it's simple levels. Elderly people are everyone is going to go and get their testosterone checked at some point in their life, or their estrogen levels. Some people get it done in their 20s and be like, hey. You can push a little bit higher on this. Yeah, all right, let's do it. And then they take creatine, then they take that. Yeah. I was sitting on the couch, and you said that people don't come out and say, yeah, I cheated. You can see what the NFL players look like.
I could name them.
And they have doctors and therapists and what do you think these doctors and therapists and everyone's doing and maximizing efficiencies and everything? What do humans do? They eat and they poop and they sleep, and then they can run. There's 4 things to do for training, right? What you put in, what you put out, sleeping,
working out. Yeah.
You don't need a team of doctors to do that.
We need to pause.
Other things.
Okay. Sorry, we do need to break. Yeah. We'll continue this on the way today. Jason Claremont, who has confirmed his participation in our Saturday night All-Star Celebrity Charity Football Classic at Leibel Field. We'll talk a little more about that. And Abi Khan, Bombers great lineman and number 60, ironically enough, as this is the 60th episode of the show, will join us to talk about how this is going over in Winnipeg today. That is the number 8 moment of the year. Andrew Harris suspended for a steroid violation. It came down right while we were on the air that Monday morning. Now, I think we're done on that. Other than to say this, my take is that I don't really care. I think Andrew Harris is a Canadian Football Hall of Famer. Will this affect that? You'd have to ask the voting committee for the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. I'm not sure I even have an opinion on that. I think the guy's been great for the CFL. He seems like a really good kid. They love him in Winnipeg. And how soon do you think before we move on from this? Well, I mean CFL fans.
I think we're going to move on. I think we're going to move on pretty quickly. I mean, was it Jonathan Rose who hit the official and got to play in the Grey Cup? We moved on before the end of the year. He never got suspended. An off-season tells a lot. Now, for me and Andrew Harris, he made a mistake, and I think he knows it. And whether he knew about it or not, it was still a mistake. He served his time. He dealt with the court of public opinion, and you take your beating, and that's what it is. He came back, played well in the Grey Cup. That's cool. Now, if he comes out, has another good year, couple more years, whatever his career is, and is clean, and he has success, and he looks like the Hall of Famer, cool. We're all going to forget about it. For me, he gets a pass. Now, if he gets caught again, or if maybe he comes out and just completely falls apart because he needed the steroids to compete, then maybe we're going to question it. But I have no doubt that Andrew Harris is just going to continue to be the great running back, the great Canadian, the great football player he's always been, and he'll get a pass.
To recap, number 10 moment of the Rod Pedersen Show, our New Year's countdown, was our Labor Day Classic weekend pregame show and All-Star Charity Football Game. Number 9 was the Players Show with Nick Lewis and friends. Number 8 was the Andrew Harris steroid suspension, which you just saw. And our number 7 Rod Pedersen Show moment of the year was the inaugural VIP trip to Houston, Texas. And I just can't thank enough the folks at Uniglow, particularly Michelle, but the whole staff over there for getting behind it. And the people that came on the trip. You're a better salesman than I. You said you can't go on every trip if you don't go on the first one. I think that worked for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They want to be on every one.
It was a line that Rick Regan used when he was voicing some of our spots, the big voice guy. You can't go on every trip unless you go on the first one. So for those people, the many of them who came with us to Houston, they had a great time. All of them a far better time than I had for most of the trip. But once I got back, it was such a great time. And the first day, full day there, when we had Don Narcisse and George Cortez come out, I mean, the stories were unbelievable. And their interaction with each and every person who wanted some time, they gave it to them. Pictures with whoever wanted them, autographs, whoever wanted them. So great. I mean, Michelle, you talked about it. She was fantastic from Uniglobe right from the beginning. We had shuttle rides organized to everything we did. We had events organized every day outside of the games too. But for me, I mean, geez, thinking about all the stuff, the Texans game and that VIP.
We have some photos. Do you guys want to roll the photos as Darren's talking?
Yeah. The VIP unlimited food and drinks for that pregame tailgate.
There's the shows.
Was awesome. Yeah, there's the shows.
I'm sorry to interrupt. From left to right as we go clockwise, obviously from the top left, Darren DuPont, myself, George Cortez, 5-time Grey Cup champion, offensive coordinator.
Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Come on. Of course. To the right with Jackie Mitchell, put him in the Hall of Fame. To the bottom right, Garrick Jones and Karan Williams, 2 CFL veterans, Grey Cup champion in the case of Karan. He's in the yellow golf shirt. Middle bottom is Mike Kershaw, wide receivers coach of Rice University Owls. He's from Regina, and his dad is Phil Kershaw, the former president of Saskatchewan and Ottawa CFL football teams and chairman of the CFL board. A big deal. And that's his son, Mike, who was with us and now watches every day from Houston. And bottom left is Don Narcisse, of course. Donald Narcisse, your favorite all-time rider, my favorite all-time American rider. Jeff Fairholm being my all-time favorite Canadian rider. But it was fun. And I sorry to cut you off on there, but I just want to say about our trip. And I know that there are a few more trips coming up, but those guys all right there. I have a very fun life. And I'm not a private person, so I enjoy welcoming people into my life, being a part of it. You want to go on a trip, come with me, hang with my friends. You saw that those guys enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll never forget, as George was taking off his mic, I think you were standing right there. He's like, so is that what y'all do every day? Every day, George. Every day.
Yeah.
We sit and talk sports for 2 hours. He thinks that it's so easy.
Yeah.
Guess what it is?
And
hang out with those guys and Don Narcisse and good friends. And then to bring in Garrick Jones, he was the big guy in the blue shirt. I'll never forget this. The security guard of the hotel. You probably saw the guy. I said, there's going to be a large black man that will walk in here around 9:30. He will block out the sun. He's coming to see us. So just bring him to the back.
Yeah.
And I'd never met Garrick Jones. And when the interview was over, when the show was over, he says, I will connect you wherever you guys go. I'll get NFL guys, CFL guys, because he's the head of the Players Association, the Alumni Association in Houston, the Houston chapter of the NFL Players Alumni Association.
Super cool. And one of the dreams I have too, and as we evolve, is I want this whole set to come with us on the road. The desk, couple chairs, right? The whole deal. I want it to look the same. And what's funny is even our guests, they still know what's going on and they follow the show.
Right, they do now.
They all brought gifts.
Yeah, well,
they know the traditions that people drop off gifts. So if we had a desk from the beginning of the trip to the end of the trip, it would have been full of memorabilia.
We should have done that.
So we had the football from Garrick Jones, the clothes from Mike Kershaw, and right from Rice University, the Houston Texans with Russell Westbrook, as you've got hold of.
Put a photo on a camera on me, boys. This is a Russell Westbrook bobblehead, which I broke.
We're going through some surgery. We're going to fix his legs.
He's on the injured reserve. Can we get this fixed? Bryn back here said Crazy Glue will do it.
Yeah, so I got some.
Let's get on it.
I picked some Crazy Glue up. Gorilla Glue. And so we're going to get
That's the new thing, right?
Yeah. But, it was so awesome. And I think Clark's got one more picture of the whole group so we can, or one of the pictures of the group that we can put up.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
But, the Houston Texans tailgate party.
Look at that gang.
Isn't that awesome? I wanted to talk about NASA for a second because it was so mind-blowing and it was awesome.
That's Apollo 13, top right, by the way.
Yeah, you can take... get your ticket, go in, see all the stuff, watch all the videos. But Michelle organized us with a private tram tour that went on this path and showed all of NASA. It showed where they plant these big oak trees for all of the fallen astronauts.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff. The private all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink VIP party that we got into with a ticket for the Texans game. Thank
awesome. Uniglobe for that.
Yeah, Uniglobe set that up for us. And then we went to Katy, Texas, home of Bo Levi Mitchell.
But one sec. Mission Control, bottom right, looks very similar to the production control room that our crew has. Very similar.
It does, doesn't it? You got the director's desk. That's what we need, Ryan, as he's sitting off to the side. I want the clear.
Money.
The clear ones where you can show their title, right above the desk.
Dollar bills, y'all.
That's what we need.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's cool. Now you know what that's what we want the control room to look like. Okay, goals for New Year's resolutions. I like that a lot.
I'm going to lose 30 pounds and get my will done.
But the high school football state semifinal game was really great at Katy, Texas.
Home of Bo Levi Mitchell.
Hallettsville and Columbus.
Why am I always intertwined with Bo Levi Mitchell?
I don't know.
It's creepy. So that was moment number 7, the VIP trip. The boys are telling us we have to break. Coming up, the number 6 moment, of course, which I would have number 6 and 5. Number 5 to me would have been number 1.
Ooh.
But that's cool. That's all coming up. You're watching our New Year's countdown special of the Rod Pedersen Show here on Facebook Live.
I've chased adrenaline my entire life. But I'm talking fourth quarter, monster hits, crowd losing it. Nothing beats the energy of a rush game.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating has been servicing Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. At Bronco, we service all makes and models of furnaces, air conditioners, water heaters, and water softeners. Bronco also provides full sewer service, plumbing service, and duct cleaning. Call Bronco Plumbing and Heating today at 306-781-2090. Proud sponsor of The Rod Pedersen Show.
If you're looking for radio that's got a great message, well, we've got it. LTD Radio plays the best of the 60s to the 90s, all with amazing stories about people right from your community. You can listen live right now at ltdradio.com, iTunes, Streama, and TuneIn. LTD Radio, music to build a better day.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it.
Think about it.
Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Welcome back to our special New Year's countdown, everybody, of the Rod Pedersen Show. Darren DuPont and me bringing in the new year with you. Thanks for joining us for coffee this morning. By the way, there will be no New Year's Day show, but we will be back Thursday live here in the bunker in Canada's only mid-morning sports talk show.
I'm sleeping in.
Are you sleeping in on
sleeping in.
New Year's Day?
Yeah.
Planning on a late night? Just
no.
like that, you should.
No, but I want to sleep in. That's all. Just want to have a sleep in.
I always say that and rarely get past 7.
I know.
I think it's me getting old. I will say this, and moment number, where are we here? Number 6?
6, I think.
Yeah, number 6. I just wrote it through. I'm screwing myself up here. Is entitled Rod versus
That's it.
Blank. It was a fun year, and you have to understand, the fans are no different than the people that work in the CFL. Good people. And what I heard from people across the CFL was why they were loving the show, why they were watching the show. I heard from coaches that said as soon as practice was over, they were coming in and putting it on their computers in their offices and stadiums across the land, that they're not getting the coverage in their markets. Calgary and BC come to mind specifically. Edmonton, they told us that they were watching, but they weren't necessarily engaging, i.e. commenting, i.e. sharing or so forth.
Yep.
But something really rung true with me in my mind. Somebody said, if you want CFL coverage, the only time you get it is on TSN game night, on the panel, with Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stiegel, Henry Burris, Rod Smith. It's the only time. Yeah. And to me, while we're all hockey fans, and you and Clark are hockey super fans, I said, how many times did I say the CFL is where our bread is buttered?
Yep.
Because it's an underserved market across the country, right? Because I have ESPN pumped into my house, and it's NFL, 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 no hockey ever, and a little bit of NBA, never any baseball. But why can we not get overload of football coverage in this country? We can't.
It'd be great. And you had the conversation and the poll question not that long ago, so last week, when you said hockey or football. And it was just a poll that we had in,
what did
in
it
the
end up?
show.
I don't remember.
I don't even remember. But it was so polarizing, but people loved it.
It was polarizing.
They kept commenting. It was a hot topic on the Prairie Mobile text line. Even days later, people listening to the podcast as early as yesterday, they mentioned yesterday morning on the show. Yeah. So that's really cool. But I love that we can be that for the players. We can be their NFL network. So I love that. And then that doesn't mean that hockey is not a great product for us, too. One of our highest viewed videos is a hockey video.
All of our highest viewed videos are hockey videos.
People love it. So that's what's great. You call it a variety show sometimes, but we can get a little bit of everything. But I love that we're the number one CFL source.
Okay, so this reminds me, yes, we are. There's no doubt. But nowhere in the top 10 is the Milan Lucic rant, which is totally fine, but it is the most viewed rant I had all year. Talk about being unscripted and organic or whatever. Authentic is the term you like. I was so upset. I'm totally getting off topic here. But Milan Lucic goes and rips the Oilers at a Flames golf tournament for saying they had a lack of leadership and Connor McDavid was not a good captain. Basically is what he intimated. And I went off saying, Milan, that's why you were signed and given $6 million or whatever it was for you to lead.
Yeah.
And he completely whiffed. So don't turn around and snap on Connor McDavid for being a bad captain. You're part of the problem in Edmonton, Milan Lucic. So I think the point that you're getting at is while our bread is still buttered by the CFL, we can still talk NHL with the big boys.
Yeah, we can. And Clark, write this down so we don't forget. Let's play that clip for everybody right after the commercial break.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Can we do that?
We can do that. We can pull it up. We can find the cart number and play it.
We have the technology.
Rod versus, it's kind of open-ended because there's Simone Lawrence. That was big. The Brandon Banks at the Grey Cup was legendary.
Bombers should send me a thank you card for getting Banks off his game.
And I had that on the top 10 list. If I'd have made the list today, it might have been higher because now you add Bo Levi Mitchell and Rob Maver to the list.
What a couple of maroons.
It's just, you know what? As you say, it's entertainment. It's fun. I have not met these people, and I've all heard great things about all of them. But it's fun. It's entertainment. And it just happens that something gets under their skin, and it's great for the show. Great for
it's
the show.
Hilarious. It's great for the CFL. Are you kidding me?
It is. It's great for ticket sales. It's great for merchandise sales. There's not enough hate in sports. And you have a home team and a visiting team. They're supposed to be one's the hero and one's the enemy. And in the other market, it's flipped. That's what's wonderful about it. We're getting away from that, and we're trying to bring that back a little bit.
Well, I think in part, and we're moments away from getting to the clip number 6 of our year-end countdown, top 10 Rod Pedersen Show moments. And I know you guys have butted a bunch together here, but I have to constantly remind myself that our regular viewers know this, and those that know me personally, and I won't say them by name, but they know what I've gone through personally as a metamorphosis. You cannot hurt my feelings. You can't. You can't. You can say whatever you want. And sometimes I forget that not everybody is like that. Actually, quite often I forget that not everybody is like that. But doesn't mean it's right.
No.
I mean, 30 years in the media business, I've had the most horrible things said. I had to learn how to deal with them.
Yep.
Right? And now with these CFL players that you're about to see with these clips, I guess it's when I was running around acting like a jerk and got held accountable for it, I didn't like it, but I was the problem. In the case of Simone Lawrence that you're going to see here, and it's in the clip, if you're going to act thuggish and get called out on it, you better look in the mirror for your own actions. Here we go into more life lessons. Nobody wants to look in the mirror.
No.
Ever.
Self-awareness is number one. It really is. If you want to have success, if you want to grow, if you want to change your life, the number one thing is you have to be self-aware. You have to know who you are. You have to look in the mirror. Self-awareness by far is number one.
Well, and that's when you hear the term of find yourself.
Yeah.
It's that.
It's absolutely that.
What are your triggers? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think some of these people that I went after on this program maybe are as enlightened necessarily. That's all.
We all find it at different stages in our lives, but it's definitely something that I found this year is self-awareness. What are you good at? What are you not good at?
Right.
And it's not always about making up for your weaknesses. Double down on your strengths, but you should know what your weaknesses are so you can surround yourself with people who can pick up the slack. But in this case of the players, yeah, you should know. You should look in the mirror and completely understand what your weaknesses are.
So in moment number 6, you're going to see me calling out some CFL people and fan bases with the number 6 moment of the year on the Rod Pedersen Show. I am loving the fire on this Simone Lawrence thing that came up yesterday. I'm loving it. And it took a day or so, but Simone's joined the fray. And I said that he is a thuggish type repeat offender, and he shouldn't be named Player of the Week. He should be suspended for the year because he is a repeat offender. I don't need to go through the rant that I had yesterday, although 37,000 impressions of the tweet where I said this is embarrassing for the CFL. So clearly there was some play on it. What I really love about this show is the comments that are coming from places like Edmonton and Hamilton and Ottawa. They're like, who is this clown? Who is this idiot ranting and raving? That's awesome. And clearly Simone Lawrence is now, and he's upset that I called him a thug. Actually, some Ticats fans were upset that I called him a thug, and he said that I might as well have called him the N-word. And I'll tell you why I said it. Because in August, I was watching a CFL game out of Hamilton. It was a live mic game, and Simone was mic'd, and he wasn't saying anything. And at halftime, Matthew Shinetti said to him, how come you're not saying anything, Simone? And he says, everybody knows you don't talk to the police. And then turned and ran away. And everybody had a big old laugh about it. But don't cry foul when somebody calls you out on it. And to say that to bring racism into it is a cheap shot.
Yeah.
But that's what you do. So stop with that. And I'm not backing off. As a matter of fact, we have the definition.
Oxford Dictionary
of a thug. Clark, do you want to pull that up? Thug. A violent person, especially a criminal. He was attacked by a group of thugs. Nowhere in there does it bring race into it or nationality or anything like that. As a matter of fact, the first time I think I've ever heard the term thug was when I was a child, referring to New York Mafia and the Bonino family and the Gottis and all that. It's nothing to do with race. So to bring up the N-word is trash. And as far as the way he's acted and been a repeat offender, truth hurts. But I do want to mention Winnipeg, and then we'll get to your photos and stories. But
sure,
they're all mad at me, or a lot are. Actually, this is how these stories all go together. My family said, why are you so popular in Winnipeg? It's the third highest viewed city for the Rod Pedersen show. And I said, popular might not be the correct term. I wouldn't say I'm popular in Winnipeg. They're not rolling out the red carpet if I came to visit, but they're all watching and listening, if that means anything. And I don't know why. I would suggest we're giving them something that they don't normally get in Winnipeg at this time of day. And that's a lot of CFL talk and coverage, and of their Bombers.
Yeah.
But 20,000 and change showed up to watch the Bombers beat Montreal 35-24. On Saturday afternoon, it was a great game, and I just said, I understand there was a huge storm in Manitoba, and I don't know all the details of it. So if I'm uneducated on the severity of this storm, then that's on me. But I said for only 20,000 to be there in this biggest game of the year and to use the storm, like 20,000 other people were able to show up. So what about the other 15,000 empty seats? And I know that pissed people off, but it reminded me of this. Marshall was talking about being in rural Saskatchewan. You were raised in rural Saskatchewan. It reminds me of this. When there was a blizzard and we were kids, and just dumps and dumps and dumps of snow coming down on a school night, and you're looking out the window and you can't see across the yard, you know you're not going to school the next day. So me and my brothers would be playing hockey in the basement all night, playing cards, watching TV, and we're like, we got tomorrow off. Exactly. And then the next morning, mom's shaking you. You can wake up and smell bacon, and you look down, dad's got the 4x4 going, and I'm like, come on, we're going to school. You don't miss.
No.
And then you show up in school, and all your country cousins are there.
All of them.
And who's not? The town kids. So my raised old school, I guess, whatever, but nothing's going to keep you away. Rain, snow, hail, sleet, you name it. You're going if you need to go. I think what he did was pretty outstanding. If you want to go by the term of the most outstanding player, what Cody Fajardo did was outstanding. If you all want to go by stats, which is what it's voted upon, yes, BDB had 1,500 yards. That was outstanding too.
Yeah.
But I just think what Cody did by single-handedly saving this franchise was outstanding and getting them to their first pennant since 2009, most wins since 1970. That's outstanding. So to me, that would be most outstanding player. I put that on Twitter. Then I get up on Saturday morning to have breakfast and have coffee in Yorkton, and all of a sudden my phone's going off like a slot machine. Ding, 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 ding. I'm like, what'd I win, Bob? It's Brandon Speedy Banks going off on me and says that us Saskatchewan people can't get over them winning. I guess we could have put the tweet up, but everybody's seen it by now. And then he says, oh, our quarterback's better than y'all quarterback anyhow. Like, I kind of got a kick out of it. And to be honest, he was liking my tweets. I was liking his. I'm thinking, this is entertainment, right? This is fun. This is what we do. This isn't real. This isn't serious. Like, you can literally say whatever the hell you want about me. I'm not going to get offended. Yeah. Trust me, because people do. And then unfortunately for him, frankly, in the game, he gets hurt. Because, here's the thing. It's a 45-man game. You can't do it alone. He was ready to have a breakout game. He was balling when he was healthy, and then he got knocked out of the game. And that's when everybody jumped on him about the karma stuff. And here we are. And nobody's heard from him since because he deleted his account. I guess that's the big thing. Or suspended it or whatever. I don't know how you do that because I don't hide. You want to bring it? Bring it. I can handle it. I'm not deleting my account. I don't have a burner. I got balls. I'm not saying Speedy B doesn't. I'm saying people with burner accounts that troll don't. The guy's got balls. Obviously, he's the most outstanding player in the CFL. He's been great for a long time. But he's hurting, and I don't like that. I don't like anybody to be. See my point about I thought this was fun? I thought this was...
Yeah.
And there you go. Moment number 6 as our producers have lovingly entitled Rod versus blank. I could have just said Rod versus the CFL, I guess.
I just love it. I love it.
Well, I love it too. As a matter of fact, I know after that Simone stuff went down, if anybody wants to know why you see me smiling on here so much every day, it's that in the past I would have been called in after the Simone thing and said, Rod, you need to apologize to Simone. And I would have said, why? Because I believe what I said. Doesn't matter, you need to get along. No, I don't want to apologize because I meant what I said.
But you were
and
called
I did.
In.
By who?
All of us. You were called in. That was awesome. We need more of that.
Well, I know all the time.
But isn't that the culture, right, around here? And it's what we're trying to build, too. Celebrating all of the successes and not necessarily being reprimanded for mistakes. Too many people, and this drives me nuts, too many people look for problems out of solutions instead of looking for solutions in problems. And in these moments, it's about... Where's the success in it? Not about what's wrong, what did you do wrong, what do we need to fix? It's about what's awesome and what can we build off of and how can we make this better? And on all these moments when you're going after certain guys, it's like, this was great because of this, and this. And here's how we can make it even better. Let's drop that clip in all the Hamilton Tiger Cat fan groups. That's Clark, but it's genius.
Well, as my friend Doug Archer, the former mayor of Regina, once said to me not that long ago, we were talking about Don Cherry. If you want to say whatever you want, you need to be the boss. If you work for somebody else, you can say whatever you want. And we own the show.
It's good advice.
So we're the bosses. Thank you, Doug.
Speaking of that, I don't know if this is a good time to go into some moments that maybe just missed the cut. Don Cherry was one of them. The whole Me Too movement in coaches, Me Too movement in coaching and hockey, that's another big moment that just missed the cut too.
So the number 5 moment, and just to recap, if you just joined us, here are our top 10 so far moments of the Rod Pedersen Show 2019. Number 10 was the Labor Day Weekend All-Star Charity Classic and Labor Day Classic pregame show. Number 9 was the Players Only show hosted by Nick Lewis. Number 8 was the Andrew Harris steroid suspension, which came down right while we were on the air, and you saw the reaction live. Number 6 was Rod versus CFL. And number 5 is, frankly, to me, and we all have our own opinions around here, we have votes on these things. So although we may not always win, we are at least heard, is Kevin Glenn announcing his retirement on this show. And it was a Wednesday, ended up being episode number 8. And for me, I don't know about you, this is why I would have voted for the number 1 moment. It showed us what the players think of this show and of this brand. It showed the country what the players think of this show. And it was Kevin Glenn on his 40th birthday announcing his retirement, which nobody knew. He said he had an announcement that day. He didn't say what it was going to be.
And he wanted to come on the program to do it.
Yep, and we should also mention, by the way, that I think it's only 3 of us have the login info for our Instagram for the show. You mean Clark? Is there more?
I think that's it.
I think it's just the 3. So we mostly Clark, probably 95% of the time, responds to the players. But in Kevin's case, it was me. Kevin was, how do I get on your show? I got something to say.
Unbelievable.
Okay, let's do it.
And what was so great was this is what, in a way, this put us on the map across the country. Because TSN picked it up, and it was Kevin Glenn announced this morning on The Rod Pedersen Show. Tagged the tweet, tagged our accounts, cited us. All the big national players cited this show. And that's when we kind of really knew, because we came on, we knew this was a big deal. And we've got amazing talent, we've got amazing guests. But that was a little bit of validation that, okay, we're doing something right. They're all taking this seriously. Not just us, not just the fans. Across the country, they're taking this seriously.
This was moment number 5 of the year, Kevin Glenn's big announcement on his 40th birthday. I'm going to bring Kevin Glenn in right now, who is asked to come on the Rod Pedersen Show here in show number 8. We're only 2 weeks into doing this thing. Kevin has asked to come on. He's got an announcement to make. It's his 40th birthday, and he is at his kids' school today. Clark, can you bring up Kevin Glenn to open the show? There they are, kids. KG, happy birthday.
Okay, now let's do this back up.
I don't know if you can even hear us. KG, listen.
I can hear you now, Ron.
Lordy, look who's 40. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What? Take it away.
So this is the things. Everybody knows today is my birthday, which I turned 40. And the other thing that was supposed to be announced today is that I am officially retiring from the CFL.
Woo! Wow. Cause for celebration. I guess.
And it's funny how it happened, because it was planned to do it on my birthday. And then it so happened that you guys contacted me yesterday, and I said, what better way to do it than to do it like this?
That's outstanding.
UK, you just knocked me off my chair, because I am like millions of CFL fans that were ready to announce that you were signing with a team. You seem very at peace with this. Clearly, so do your children. So what went into this?
Yeah. My daughter right here had a big part to play in it, So with that being said, she was like, "Dad, it's about time. It's about time for you to hang the cleats up." So yeah, I am. I'm at peace with it, and like I said, I've told a couple of people if they could have spent this off season with me, they would have known what direction I was going in and leaning towards. But I also always said that, if there was a good situation, I may have taken it, but right now I'm at peace, and it's good.
Kevin,
I'm with all my children now.
Yeah, no kidding. He looks like a very happy guy as he announces his retirement. Most are not. All right, KG. Thanks, my man. Stay close.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right. Kevin Glenn with his big announcement of his retirement on his 40th birthday after 17 seasons in the CFL. Darren said it best in the intro to that clip. TSN, and I just want to say thank you to TSN and also the CFL.ca, because they all credited this show, the Rod Pedersen Show, for Kevin Glenn announcing his retirement. For the media that did not credit this show, shame on you. I remember saying that at the time.
Yeah.
Episode number 8. Why wouldn't they credit us? I don't understand.
I remember. It was so funny. Can we say it? Did we post it on Twitter?
Say whatever you want.
The Heisenberg clip from Breaking Bad.
Say my name.
Say my name. Oh, it's so funny. But we have fun with that stuff. And that's what social media should be. It should be fun. And the show is fun. If we're not, I've said this before, if we're not having fun, it's the day we're shutting it down.
We're rolling up the carpets and turning out the lights.
That's it.
Having a lot of fun. So Clark tells me in my ear that we are through hour 1, and those are our top 5, 10 through 5 top moments of the year. We'll come back with the top 5 in hour 2. Cool?
Cool.
It's the Rod Pedersen Show year-end countdown here on Facebook Live.
Every sale held in 2019 has led up to our biggest event of the year. Ring in the savings with year-end clear-out at Capital GMC. We're making a list and checking it twice of the biggest savings on pre-owned vehicles this holiday season. Check out this loaded, certified pre-owned 2019 Chevy Equinox. Get it under the tree for just $25,998 plus tax. And this loaded, certified pre-owned 2019 GMC Acadia is only $32,997 plus tax. Only at Canada's #1 certified pre-owned dealer, Capital GMC in Regina.
You need to adapt and you need to move forward. You can't be stuck in 1920. Direct West is on the top of their game. They know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and when you work with Direct West, things are good. There's no going backwards, they're moving forward. My business would not be where it is today without the help of Direct West to help me with my website and my Facebook and all my online presence. I've worked with Direct West for about 10 years, and it's been a great experience.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends.
Locally owned and family operated. Emerald Water, refreshing the Rod Pedersen Show. From reverse osmosis to natural alkaline and distilled water, they are perfect for your home and office. Saskatchewan's #1 source for commercial alkaline with natural electrolytes and minerals that are better for your body. Naturally occurring magnesium, calcium, bicarbonate, and potassium are amazing for your health. Trust 30 years of experience and drink water that matters from Emerald Water.
A man's personality and character is exuded through his haircut. Your image is important. Our high-end services range from a traditional haircut and shave to gray blending, beard shaping, and unwanted hair removal. Located at 425 Victoria Avenue East. Book your appointment online now at modernmen.ca or call Tammy 306-522-4111. Modern Men, a haircut for the modern man.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now back to the studio with Rod.
Just joining us, it is hour 2 of the Rod Pedersen Show, our year-end countdown here on New Year's Eve. We're all shined up. I want to thank Colin O'Brien's Man Shop for this wonderful outfit. I did not put on the bow tie that my co-host here, Darren DuPont, did. All shined up like that. What do you got planned for New Year's Eve, by the way?
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. Heading right out of here and heading to Saskatoon. So tomorrow I got the Blades New Year's Day game. There's always some, a few games in the calendar that are special throughout the year. And 2 of them for me are the first game after Christmas because you're back. World Juniors is on. You're back at the rink. And then the New Year's Day game because it's in the afternoon. I do the game with Les Lazarick. And oftentimes, a couple of times, we've worn our pajamas to the rink, which is kind of fun. I don't really like interviewing coaches when I'm in my pajamas.
I could never do it.
But it's kind of fun.
What do the coaches say?
They think it's funny for a little bit. I don't know that I'm going to wear my pajamas tomorrow.
Who are some of the coaches that you've interviewed in your pajamas?
Oh, geez. I'd have to. I don't even know. Because I've only worn them once or twice.
John Tavares?
And usually it's, yeah, exactly. I had a reindeer onesie that I wore, but I only wore it for the little bit of the show, and then I changed back into my suit. But it's fun, and it's a day game, and everybody's there. Good tidings. The off-ice officials always bring some food. It's usually really great.
Well, I'll tell you what. I invite our viewers this morning to write us on the Prairie Mobile text line. What was your best New Year's Eve? Prairie Mobile, where's my thing here? 306-840-8777. That's 840-8777. Text us right here in the bunker on the New Year's countdown special. Your best New Year's ever. Families trust Prairie Mobile. That's where we get our phones from. Not only the Rod Pedersen Show family, but the Pedersen family. We're big fans of Prairie Mobile. By the way, moment number 4 is coming up.
What are you doing for New Year's?
I was just going to get into that.
Okay, good.
Well, it's a lot quieter than years past. If I may, over the last 4 years, I was just realizing with the World Juniors going on, I'm like, why have I been so out of touch with the World Juniors the last 4 years? Where have I been?
Yep.
And then I went back and looked and thought, oh yeah, Phoenix climbing Camelback Mountain one year. Las Vegas, bringing it in on the Strip, which was great. Manhattan, Times Square, good once, would never do it again. My wife would, though. And last year, a cruise off the coast of South Beach, Florida.
That looked cool.
That left the dock at 9 p.m. and returned at 2 a.m. Wow. And I remember right at midnight, we parked, however you park a yacht, at midnight in the middle of this cove, and there were fireworks going off in 5 different locations all around us.
Yep.
And we had our drink, and I kissed my wife, and I said, I don't know how I'm going to top this. And she said, you don't have to. Let's just keep coming back here. And then life happens, and here we are, and we're watching the World Juniors. And tonight, I don't really know. As you know, she's the party planner. She's the social butterfly of the two of us. I think it might involve friends, obviously, in some sort of potluck event. I don't really know. I'm just not really the party guy anymore. But I will say this, as a kid, well, 2 things. One, the best New Year's I ever had was the Miami cruise off the coast of South Beach. You get that. Mm-hmm. 2, when I was young enough, my dad used to always go to bed like before midnight and say, see you next year. And then I'd break down crying, Dad, where are you going? What do you mean next year? And he, of course, meant the next morning.
That's so funny. It's the dad joke.
It's a dad joke.
It is.
Now I do it.
It's funny. Like, you and I were talking about this kind of before the show, but with the lives that you and I lead, you need to have a good teammate as a partner, right? That's so important to have a good teammate. And one of the things that you and I need, because we're all consumed by this, is you need somebody to do the planning for your personal life.
Right.
And she does it
There's
for you.
There's books written about that.
Oh, yeah. And so that's so important.
Yeah, she's that for me, and I'm very grateful for it. Now, moving on. For those that may have missed hour 1 and you can't actually go back live and rewind, you'll have to wait until the show's over. We've learned that the hard way. Top 10 moments of the Rod Pedersen Show here in 2019. Number 10 was Labor Day weekend and the pregame show for the Labor Day Classic Riders Bombers plus the alumni charity football game the night before. Show number 9, the Players Only the Players Only Show with Nick Lewis. Number 8, the Andrew Harris steroid violation. That wasn't the number 8 story. It was the number 8 moment on this show because it broke while we were on the air. With Bombers alum Mike Abometric, it was great. We went through all of this in hour 1. Moment number 7 was the Houston VIP trip, just the whole weekend. Another shout out to Uniglobe, LGI Travel, and Michelle and crew. Number 6 was Rod versus the CFL. I'm just going to name it that myself. And the little controversies, the little tempest in the teapot that we had with Brandon Banks and Simone Lawrence and Bomber fans. I enjoyed it. I don't think they did, but that's fine. Number 5 was Kevin Glenn announcing his retirement on episode 8. Now, that would have been my number 1, but not for those around here. They said number 5.
Before you get into the top 4 moments.
Yeah.
That's, for me, actually, that you say that, it made me think, wow, you're going to go into number 4, and for a lot of people, they'll think, that would have been my number 1 moment. And number 3, that would have been my... But I think there's no question we nailed the top 5 moments. Now, the order...
What order it is.
What order those top 5... I think there's people who would think any one of the top 5 could be number 1. So that's really cool.
Well, number 4 is a clip coming up here that I would say was the hardest that I've laughed on this show.
Oh, I know.
Through 146 episodes. And with me that day were 2 of my closest and longest time friends, Kelly Rempel, the Silver Fox, who I first met as a teenager. I was working on the radio in Weyburn, and he was working in the front office of the Moose Jaw Warriors. We're the same age, so he was a teenager too. So we've known each other a long time. Back before he was the Silver Fox.
Yeah.
Because he's been gray since I think he was 20. It's a long time ago.
Wow.
And Phil Andrews, the voice of the Regina Pats, who's never missed an episode. He's probably watching right now.
Unbelievable. I hit the floor. I literally fell to the floor.
This might be number 1.
I was laughing so
This
hard.
might be number 1.
This might be number 1. That's just what's so great.
Any more you want to say about it?
I don't know. Let's roll it because I want some laughs.
The number 4 moment of the Rod Pedersen Show 2019 has been lovingly entitled Pimps and Whores. Cliffy Mapes, who you guys know well.
Oh, yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I've said this, Cliff is one of the top sports marketing people in Western Canada, if not all of Canada. He was winning all those marketing awards with the Pats when the team was terrible. If he could bring in all that money marketing-wise with that, what was on the ice, this guy knows what he's doing.
Good human being, too.
He's a phenomenal human being. And Cliffy's watching from his palatial estate in Saskatoon this morning, I'm sure. So,
would you yell at him if he was here?
Darn right you would.
Yeah,
I guess if he was talking on the set, maybe.
I want to tell you an interesting story. So when they came to me, IKS Media and DuPont Media, about this concept of this show, I'm like, I don't know if it'll work. So they said, no, we got a presentation. Come on in. We're going to give it to you. Cliffy led the presentation. There's Paul, the owner, sitting there. He's looking at me like, get the story right. Cliffy sold me on me. And part of it is the sales strategy. Cliff's like, I wanted to do this with the teams that I've worked with for years, where a sponsor can be part of the program, i.e. the video that he showed me was news conferences for a team where the sponsor's sitting at the podium beside the player or the GM or whatever, or sit in a live studio audience, or attend games with me, Rider games, Pats games, Warrior games, Rush games, whatever. Why not? I don't mind whoring myself out to sponsors. I've been whoring it out for another pimp for 25 years. Now I'm the whore and the pimp. That's where the money is.
And you get to keep some of it.
I get to keep a portion of it. Before I got none. Is that fair?
No, it's more than fair.
How do you feel about it? Like, do you feel violent?
You're an entrepreneur.
No. I'm sleeping great.
It's almost like you're a junior entrepreneur with this project, whereas before, you were basically just
part of a number.
That's right.
You're high price now too.
I'm a high price.
Yeah. Like there's you're not walking down the street taking anything.
You gotta have me. Yeah, I'm not in the phone book.
No.
No, you've raised the bar. You've raised the bar. And you know what? The greatest thing is now young entrepreneurs could listen to them. Somebody with dignity, respect, call themselves a whore, and feel better about themselves.
It's all metaphors, of course, but. Check the Facebook feed.
What? Metaphor? I thought we were being serious.
Xander, man, I keep liking that show more and more every day. By the way, great guests all day, every day. Keep it up, Roddy. From Brooke in BC, that was pure gold. From Craig Monroe, hashtag Rod's Rant. From Kyle Halverson, the best. From Pam, watching out in Fort Capel. Too funny. So
I could see, how you have those little 2-minute YouTube clips. On YouTube, you'll bring up YouTube, and then it'll say Rod's rant on calling himself a whore.
Has it been posted yet, Clark? It was a beauty, Clark.
It's hard out here for a pimp.
Okay. From Andrew, I'm dying. Hashtag Rod's a pimp.
When you're trying to get that money for the rent.
Easy. Yeah, exactly.
Are you a female high school dropout between the age of 16 and 25? Are you tired of doors being slammed in your face when you apply for a job?
Whoa.
Are you tired of laying in bed all day with nothing to do?
Why am I snorting?
How did we get here? I don't remember.
The guy asked. It was Cliff's idea.
Cliff's fault.
Hashtag blame Cliff. Head to Rod Peterson.
I honestly can't remember how we did that.
Head to rodpeterson.com to see the podcast, blog, and other exclusive content. On the road, listen to the live audio stream at rodpeterson.com. Are you guys ready for commercial back there? Because I know I am. I got to catch my breath.
Your cheekbones are hurting.
If you want to sponsor this show.
Oh, God, who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't? Check what's the poll?
Yes, Shay, you're right.
Are we off
There's
the rails
hashtag.
today? Hashtag blame Cliff. Craig Monroe, Kelly's on fire. Keep it going. From Kyle, I can't breathe.
Right now, somewhere there's a CEO of one of the major, like Sask Power or something, going, how do we get in on this? Bring all the marketing. We're having a meeting in 10 minutes. We got to allocate 10 or 15 grand to this show.
Or Mark Zuckerberg sitting at the Facebook offices saying, "Get him off the air."
Exactly. Everybody in their work's like, "Turn it down. We're going to get fired."
Oh, from Todd on Facebook, "Rod, the middle-aged white boy, be straight pimping, yo." It's day 4.
This is outstanding.
Somebody call a tow truck. We got to get out of the ditch. All right, welcome back to the show. And there you go. Number 4 moment.
Tears from
Pimps and Whores. Every time I watch it, I want to hit the floor laughing. And by the way, as I say, I think I'm more public than my family would like me to be. Because they're far more private people than I am.
Sure.
But I was trying to explain to one of my brothers about how my life has changed. And you just saw the moment there to bring it not from the era of street workers, but to broadcast. I'm not just the paid help anymore. I'm going on sales calls with sponsors. I'm taking sponsors to games, just like the clip said.
You're working the street to line your own pocket.
Working the street to line my own pocket. And yours.
Yeah.
And everybody. We're all working and doing it. But instead of putting it in the man, in the corporation's pocket, it's going in my own.
Yeah.
And some of I don't want to name who I'm going to these sales calls with and who I'm taking to the games, but it's working out really great because they've become friends.
They have. And the more we bring them in, the more they don't want to leave. And they want to be a part of this family and this club that we've built. And what's funny is you were talking about being in Edmonton and showing people clips of the show on your phone. And that clip, number 4, the Pimps and Horses, is one I routinely pull up. If you haven't seen, you got to see this clip first, then you got to see this clip, and there's always a hit list of a half dozen clips. But the further the show goes along, I don't know which clips to choose because they become better and better.
I don't know. Maybe we need a highlight reel of that. But just before we break, I will say this. So Friday night, I'm at a game in Edmonton, Oilers Flames, and this lady with this company that I'm thinking is going to be on board here as a sponsor here shortly. I showed her a clip, and the very first clip I showed was, "You prick!" I didn't do it as good as I did.
That was pretty good, though.
Pretty good. Talking about Popovich, Greg Popovich. Her eyes bugged out like, this looks great. It's a visual thing. It's entertaining. Yeah.
That's the idea.
So,
yep.
The Popovich, that clip isn't in here, is it?
No. It's
in our top 10?
Not in the top 10.
So we're through 10 through 4, our top 3 coming up. But first, a break. We'll be right back. You're watching the Rod Pedersen Show year-end countdown on Facebook Live.
Every sale held in 2019 has led up to our biggest event of the year. Ring in the savings with year-end clear-out at Capital GMC. We're making a list and checking it twice of the biggest savings on brand new vehicles this holiday season. Get savings up to $15,000 or finance rates as low as 0% up to 84 months on select new inventory. Plus, every single one of our new 2019 models has had its price heavily discounted. Celebrate the most wonderful time of year with Saskatchewan's largest GM dealer, Capital GMC in Regina.
Celebrate the 5th anniversary with friends, family, everyone you know. Plan your next group experience with your Saskatchewan Rush. Group benefits include block seating, ticket discounts, and a dedicated fan experience coordinator. For more, visit saskrush.com/group night out.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating has been servicing Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. At Bronco, we service all makes and models of furnaces, air conditioners, water heaters, and water softeners. Bronco also provides full sewer service, plumbing service, and duct cleaning. Call Bronco Plumbing and Heating today at 306-781-2090. Proud sponsor of The Rod Pedersen Show.
Cheers to the 16 guys who never back down. And to the smooth, refreshing beer with a real beer taste. Original 16. Underdogs since 1989.
If you're looking for radio that's got a great message, well, we've got it. LTD Radio plays the best of the 60s to the 90s, all with amazing stories about people right from your community. You can listen live right now at ltdradio.com, iTunes, Streama, and TuneIn. LTD Radio, music to build a better day.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody, to the 2019 year-end countdown here on the Rod Pedersen Show. Wherever, however, you may be watching the program today. Did I say whenever?
Sure.
Wherever, however. Thank you for being a part of the program. You saw the commercial in the break there for LTD Radio and our good friend Joe Gunnis, who runs that program, and the beach party, Daryl McLean's beach party. I should mention this because I was thinking about this in high school. And you were born in 87. I was in high school then. They used to run a Saturday night house party on Z99. Did they do that when you were?
Yeah, I think so.
When in the 90s?
Yeah.
It was so great. We would just put on the radio at a house party, literally.
Yeah.
And it would be Bon Jovi and Guns N' Roses, which were new.
Away you go.
They were new at the time. Well, they don't do that anymore.
No.
But you can still put on Daryl McLean's beach party on a Saturday night and let it roll with live streaming. And then you don't have to worry about your playlist and so forth. And as Clark is apt to point out, Sunday mornings, what is it, 10 a.m. Eastern or noon Eastern? What is it, Clark?
10?
Noon Eastern, 11 o'clock Saskatchewan time. You get the best of the week of the Rod Pedersen Show on LTDRadio.com. So Clark did want me to promote some of our social media feeds as well. I'm promoting that show, but also, what are we? Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, CastBox, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify. We're at all those platforms for podcasts.
Yep.
Plus rodpedersen.com. You can watch on Facebook every day. We are on Instagram at The Rod Pedersen Show. We are on Twitter at Rod Pedersen Show. And YouTube, we have our own YouTube channel, The Rod Pedersen Show. And as you saw the commercial for Bronco Plumbing and Heating there, as Clark pointed out in one of our meetings, they're the only sponsor that has its own YouTube channel specifically dedicated to Rod's rants on this show.
Isn't that pretty awesome?
So there you go, Bronco Plumbing and Heating.
You get the whole playlist of the Rod's rant. And, earlier on in the program, we had a few clips, the best of Rod's rant, which is always fun. So, and the thing about the Rod's rant for Bronco Plumbing and Heating, you never know when they're going to happen.
No.
And that was one of the things. It wasn't something that we thought of before the show started. You just went off. You had things that just triggered you. And so I was like, we got to sell it. We got to sell it. Rod's rant. We did. Bronco came on board. And I said we were upfront from the beginning. This isn't something we're necessarily going to have every day.
We couldn't do it every day.
We'll read it every day. We'll read the liner every day, and we'll promote them. But they'll happen when they happen. Some days it might be twice or 3 times. There's been days where I think Clark's just been stabbing that thing till it burnt out. So it's always fun. I love that segment.
Rod's rant for Bronco Plumbing and Heating, your factory authorized Bryant Furnace dealer. I want to thank all of our sponsors that have been along on this wonderful journey through 146 episodes. And I'll say it again, and you're going to want to slap me here, but we got some really exciting news in 2020. That's all I will say, but stay tuned because it's getting bigger. And I understand why the rest of the media may wonder why we're so excited about a Facebook Live show. And then it dawned on me, and you helped me with that. They don't know what's coming. We know what's coming, so that's why we're excited to get in here every day.
I know.
But nobody else knows.
Nobody else
But they'll know
knows.
fairly shortly into the new year.
Yeah, nobody else has a clue.
It's our year-end countdown show. And I'm just going to recap the top 10 so far. The number 10 moment of the year on the Rod Pedersen Show was Labor Day weekend and our pregame show before the Labor Day Classic, plus the charity football game the night before with Ryder and Rams alum. Number 9 was the Players Only Show with Nick Lewis hosting. Number 8, Andrew Harris, suspended 2 games for a steroid violation by the CFL, came down right while we were on the air. And it was quite the reaction live on this show. The number 7 moment was the VIP trip with Uniglobe LGI travel to Houston, Texas. The whole weekend was the number 7 moment. Number 6, Rod versus the CFL. Some of my bouts, if you will, with CFL personalities. Number 5, Kevin Glenn announcing his retirement on this show on his 40th birthday. Number 4 was the Pimps and Whores rant, whereby We are working for ourselves, not working for the man, hence why we can't stop smiling every day.
Yeah.
And number 3, you guys have lovingly entitled Best of Guests. So I'm going to hand it to you to explain that, and then I'll give you my take on that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this number 3 moment, you could have labeled it Producer Clark, too. It's been wildly sensational, the guests that we've had on this show. The list is nonstop. I know we put together a graphic just to have some of the names on here. And I said, Clark, as quickly as you can, get as many names in the sheet as possible. But we didn't go through the whole list of everybody who's been on this show. Hundreds of people have been on this show.
Biggest names in Canadian sports right there.
Oh, and more. Really unbelievable. From commissioners to stars to the biggest media personalities in the country to some of the biggest athletes in hockey and in football and in baseball and analysts from all over.
Wally Buono.
Vegas to Toronto to
Jay
Vancouver.
Onrait, Theo Fleury, Darian Durant, Corey Sheets, Henry Burris, Stu Grimson. Sorry to interrupt, but...
No, roll.
Michael Landsberg, and of course people are looking at this as we go, but Kenton Keith, Andy Fantuz. Clark said he did this just off his head. And
Dave Tippett was on the show.
Yeah, he's on the far right there. And that's, you can bring it back to us. This is part of what annoyed me over the last 6 months with this show, maybe to a year, because I'm 47. I've now been in the business, I guess this will be my 31st year. I started in high school when I was 16 years old, working basically full-time in the business. And people just seemed stunned that we would have these guests on this show. For the first 3-4 months, there was nobody on this show that I'd never met before. They were all my friends.
Yeah.
Right? But one of the things when you came to me about hosting the show, I says, listen, there's a list of conditions here, and one of them is I don't want to line up the guests. It's exhaustive work. It's a full-time job. I had to do it in my last job. It's too much work. No, thanks. You said, that's fine. We got a guy to do that. And it was Clark. Yeah. Dave Tippett's a guy that I've known 25 years, and it just angered me that when I broke the story of Ken Holland to be the next GM of the Edmonton Oilers back in April, Arash Madani said it was one of the biggest scoops in Canadian media in the last few years. And the Edmonton media is like, how does the football guy have the scoop on the Oilers? I'm like, yeah, you donkeys. Do you not realize I was raised in the game? These are all my friends. 17 years in the Western Hockey League.
Your dad in the NHL. You've been in the NHL. You've been in hockey your whole life.
Yeah. How do they not know that?
Well, it's what you're exposed to.
I realize that I have to get over the fact that some people just aren't paying attention.
But they know you as a football guy, and that's how they got to know you as voice of the Riders. And
that's cool, too.
And for you to be a hockey guy and work so hard and be so good at your craft that people are like, oh, he's a football guy, and he's a great football guy, and we're tuning in because we love the football. That shows people what you're able to do.
I had to learn the game.
Yeah. And so now you have the ability to talk hockey, which is your natural tongue, your native tongue.
I say it's like my DNA. It's as natural as breathing.
Wait to see how high that can go. And we've already seen it.
Yeah. But that was the first 3 to 4 months of the show. And then the last couple have been guys coming on the program that I'd never met before.
Yeah.
These are the guys that are writing into our Instagram account usually saying, how do I get on your show?
Yeah. Never thought that would happen.
And that's really cool.
That's cool.
And we're not hiding any of this stuff either, by the way.
No.
Like Justin Renfro comes on from the BC Lions and tells the story of the coach threatening to hang him while playing for the Virginia Cavaliers. And that was a spellbounding chat, by the way, where Justin says, I'm not looking to get anybody fired. I'm just trying to get something off my chest.
Yeah.
The players have realized that this is a safe place for them to come. They're not going to be portrayed, vilified. They can just be themselves.
Yep.
James Wilder Jr. is another.
Yeah.
Coming on with his comments about the Toronto Argonauts coaching staff. Well, I had met James before. I shouldn't say that I didn't know him, but that's, as we said in the opening segment here, this thing took a turn off the road, took an off-ramp that we didn't see coming.
Didn't.
And that's a good one. that these players are trying to get on. Where are they going to get on? Sportsnet, CBC? They're not going to put them on.
No, here. This show. That's what's cool.
So the guests, and by the way, everywhere I go, people are saying to me, the guests are what makes the show. That doesn't offend me. That's the truth. And that's Clark.
Yeah.
And here's our best of. It's the number 3 moment, a montage of the best of guests through 2019 on the Rod Pedersen Show. TSN's Jay Onright joining us on video chat this morning. Hello, Jay. Welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show. Hi, my friend. How are you?
Great. You look fantastic.
Are you stopping there?
You have that's it. That's all I've got.
I can see how your show's a sensation there, Rod. Everybody
say what they want.
Across the nation, they're talking about it, and now this is going to make news.
Just being yourself, and whenever I can openly speak about something that I love near and dear, it truly shows, and that's what makes the Rod Pedersen Show one of the best shows in all of North America, and that's why I look forward to being on every week.
But your child is so quiet. Did you sedate that child?
He's so chill. I'm gonna try to get a shot of him for you.
Okay.
He's
little cough syrup there this morning.
Sorry. You know what? I can't. My wife's breastfeeding him. So forget it.
Whoa, it's a family show.
Do you got to go?
Yep.
Okay, Lynch is leaving the building. This is one thing.
Seeing you again, buddy.
Yeah, nice.
Real pleasure.
Yeah, nice.
Look at this.
See you next. No, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. That's right. Friends, he knows that I'm going to. Let's get a shot of it. There he goes. Lynch leaving the set.
What if I just got up and left too? What a beauty. That's
you
great.
You might have to.
Yeah, that's great.
You see why people love this guy?
Yeah, he's amazing. This is great. Yeah.
It's happened.
I got to head out of here. So.
Oh, you're out of here? Lynch is leaving the building.
Been a great show. Been a great show. Right from beginning to end.
Thanks, Frenzy.
Bye-bye.
He's out of here.
Good seeing you.
Frenzy, out. It's funny you say that. I know why you're saying you're from Regina. When you say it to an American,
it's a city that rhymes with fun.
You're from where?
Oh, they lose their mind. You can't even tell them a story. I'm like, oh yeah, when I worked at CTV Regina, they're like, they just get distracted by that fact. Like, man, this was funny when we were 5. Like when we were 5, it was like, oh, that's funny. But now it's like, that's just the name of the city. Like, get over it.
It never fails. Stop. Where?
So I want to thank you for that, Darren, for saving me back in the Keystone Center 28 years ago.
Yeah.
And the next time, as a token of my appreciation, the next time Labardius gets married, I'll do nothing. I'll treat you with dignity and respect. How's that?
I appreciate that. And I assume the check is still in the mail for bailing you out. And
with
let me
interest.
leave you with this. Yeah, I haven't talked to Rob Kearney in many, many, many years, probably dating back to my time out west. Does he still wear those ridiculously cheap suits?
Of course. He's got more of them.
Slick back his hair and the funky goggles. I mean, that man had a style. Well, it was a style. Let's just leave it at that. But I had a lot of laughs back in the day with Rob Kearney.
So much.
He looked like Brother Love.
Brother Love from WD. He had a brand before branding. Before branding was a thing.
That's fair.
You're looking young. And we'll see you
You
later.
know what, Rod?
Yeah.
Rod, I'm feeling young. I'm the vice president of the Young Club. You know who the president is.
Kelly Rampel.
It is Kelly Rampel. And I just want to say that we welcome the best. And everybody there, I don't know the one gentleman as well as you other two. You don't get into the Young Club for free. You gotta earn it.
You gotta earn it. All right.
At poor Derek Myers. He's still on probation. I gotta go, but he's coming off.
Let the good times roll.
You got that right. Bye, guys.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Prairie Mobile is your SaskTel authorized dealer. Whether you're looking for talk, text, or data, shared, unlimited, or business plans, Prairie Mobile will help you find the SaskTel wireless plan that's right for you. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com. Saskatchewan snow beef is the highest quality beef you will find, bred, born, and raised in Saskatchewan. Snow beef is the result of crossbreeding full-blood Wagyu males with Holstein females. Much like a fine wine, when given the proper care and diet, the snow beef genetics develop superior marbling and flavor. The culmination of these efforts is the best beef you can get in Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan snow beef is available at Crave Kitchen and Wine Bar on Victoria Avenue in Regina, Little Red's Market Cafe in Mortlock, Saskatchewan, or take some home to your own grill by purchasing it at Local and Fresh, 1377 Hamilton Street in Regina. For more information, follow them on Facebook or Instagram at Sask Snow Beef.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445 or log on to deervalleygolf.ca.
My name is Karen Allen. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2007. The treatments themselves were difficult, but the care and attention that I received was phenomenal. But what if, with the advances in technology that have been made, having that better equipment would increase survival rates by 1%, maybe 2%? That's people.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Rod Pedersen Show year-end countdown special here. Happy New Year! And I invite you to be watching right to the end of the show, as we'll be setting off streamers and celebrations right here in the bunker. That's coming up in not too far away. Darren DuPont with me here. We've been through 10 through 3 of the top moments. At number 2, I don't think I need to recap 10 through 3, do I? No, we've done it. We've done it. I will when we get to the next one, to number 1. Number 2, moment of the year on the Rod Pedersen Show, you have labeled as Grey Cup 107. And I can get down with this discussion because it went back and forth for a long time as to what we were going to do for Grey Cup 107.
Yeah.
Over to you.
It really did. But we got a bit of a new studio, temporary for the week. Took everything, moved it around, and it was so much fun. I mean, Grey Cup week, Sean Lemon, counting up, was one of our big analysts. We had so many people roll through this studio in terms of former players and coaches. Mike Benavides came into the studio.
He was the first guest.
He was awesome. So it's kind of Grey Cup 107. It's the whole Grey Cup week that was so special. And, I mean, Winnipeg winning a Grey Cup. And we talk about the ice melting and the bridges thawing a little bit between here and Edmonton, or here in Winnipeg, and them being huge viewers of our show, and then getting that Grey Cup for the first time in almost 30 years. It's just such a big moment of the year that it had to be included in our list. It just had to.
Well, and one of our, again, I don't know what's in this montage coming up, our top 10 moments of the year. This is number 2, Grey Cup 107. But I should mention a shout out to Craig Smith, who I'm sure is sitting at home watching right now, our director of scouting, Craig Smith, who has won 2 Grey Cups in the CFL. He's coached in the CFL, scouted for a long time, been a director of player personnel. He's the guy that brought Mike Benavides in. Smitty is so well thought of. And I gotta say, as we get near the end of our countdown moments here, what's so fun for me, and I think I can speak for you, and definitely Paul, is building something from the ground up. And seeing a guy like Craig Smith, who's a guy here in town, who's a good guy, who wants to be part of something. And I'm like, hey, TSN has a director of scouting, and Craig Button, who was my dad's boss for 20 years in Dallas. I've known him since I was in high school. Why can't we have a director of scouting? Craig Smith would fill that exact same role. And obviously a key part. He's in here at least once a week. We love him. Comes to all of our, we invite him to all of our events, right? Our Christmas party, our watch parties. Smitty's invited to everything, and he brought Mike Benavides in because he's so well-liked. The guys just want to come in and talk ball. We're not sitting here splitting atoms or anything, and I don't think we're making anybody look bad. We're just breaking down the CFL because nobody else is.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. But yeah, I mean, the people. That's what it's all about, the people. And Benny, I mean, great. I mean, he comes in here and instantly it feels like he's right at home. He fit right in. So super cool. And that was just the start of Grey Cup week, and it was just a wonderful, week of football. And even the days after in celebration. I know, Boo is in here with his jersey on, and I'm sure that's part of the clip coming up. Just an awesome time.
We do have a couple minutes before we do throw to the clip. And when I said that this was months in the making, you and I, hey, listen, it's not all lollipops and rainbows here, buddies. It's not all peaches and gravy. You and I were arguing over the merits of going to Grey Cup because do you mind me saying?
Let's do it.
I said, I would prefer this to be a clean break. After 20 years of being voice of the Riders, I wouldn't mind taking a Grey Cup off. We don't need to be there. We'll go to the next 100 Grey Cups, but I don't care to go to Calgary this year. You didn't agree with that stance.
I did not.
No.
But
explain.
But that comes down to this show. We all work together to come up with decisions. So just because I think we need to be there doesn't mean we have to go. Even though it was probably the thing we should have done. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What we ended up
you got
doing,
a money tree outside that you just got to shake the money tree?
Yeah, what we ended up doing was fantastic.
Yeah.
We had Mike Abumeshrik on the ground in Calgary as our roving reporter. That was really cool.
We had Devere Posey, Keon Raymond joining us from Grey Cup, who are guys I'd never met before, who asked to come on.
It's super cool. But yeah, we have disagreements, but that's how we grow, right? By having arguments, pushing each other, coming up with different ideas, bringing other people as part of the discussion. And I like that. We got to do it here, our own way, in our own studio, and be with each other and make it nice. And I mean, we'll go next year.
Right.
It's
pretty easy.
Right in
down
our
the street.
backyard.
Yeah.
And we'll pick and choose. We don't have to go every year. But it was really cool.
Well, why we have so much fun, and now they're telling me to get on to it here, is that at the end of every day, Ryan Baracco, who was here earlier, he's not now, I don't think. Where is he?
I'm not sure. I think
he's our technical producer. He comes out with a laptop and gives us the top 10 cities for viewing every day. That's for Facebook viewers. Plus, we have the audio live stream, right, that people are listening every day. And it's obviously hella fun to be fighting with Winnipeg and seeing viewership in Winnipeg just skyrocket.
Oh, yeah.
And then by the end of the year, we're getting along with Winnipeg, and I'm saying how happy I am that they won the Grey Cup, which is true, which is not an act. And then we see Winnipeg viewership. I'm fighting with Hamilton, and you see viewership. You came in here, you're like, guess what, guys? Hamilton's number 6 for viewership.
Yeah, they love it.
It's just wild that for the 30 prior years in the media, you just had a feeling of what was going on when you're talking on the radio, but you don't really know. And that's why this is so much fun. We have the data right in front of us. Not to mention 36% female viewership, 46% when Lynch is on Fridays. Age breakdown, 18 to 25 is this percentage. 25 to 35 is this percentage. That's fascinating.
It is.
It's fascinating to anybody. And we can give that to the sponsors.
Yep.
Because they love it. I mean, one of our biggest sponsors is Great Western. And thank you, boys, at Great Western and the gals there, but we've only met the boys. But they said, hey, we're huge in Saskatchewan. We'd like to get into Manitoba and Alberta. Well, guess what, guys? Here's the numbers.
Yeah. We're working.
They're like, where do we sign?
We're growing in those markets that they want to grow in. So that's what's cool. We're not just looking for sponsors who are going to write a check. We're looking for sponsors.
No, partnerships.
Partnerships who want to grow with us and who have similar values and core beliefs and similar growth plans, and we can grow together. So
they're drinking a lot of Great Western in Alberta these days, I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
And a big part of it was our Grey Cup coverage. Here is our montage from Grey Cup 107.
He pulls an Adam Sandler. And on the first quarter, early on, drops back, hit him in the nuts. Hits Simone in the nuts. So he's sitting back in a drop zone, clock him once, move on, players settle it, look at him, walk off the field on second down, and then Winnipeg will
You're saying it's all about Claris.
I think it's all about Claris.
I can see how your show's a sensation there, Rod. Everybody's
say what they want.
Across the nation, they're talking about it, and now this is going to make news.
Clark tells me we have been hacked by the sports doctor in Winnipeg. He sent this video in after the Bombers win yesterday. You guys want to roll that thing? You can put your headphones. Oh, yeah.
La 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 la. All year long. All year long, I've been talking about Plan the Parade, and you guys laughed. Everyone laughed. It's all on YouTube. All the Rod Pedersen Show stuff's on YouTube. Check it out. But now, who's laughing now? I even heard that there's a movement right now in Saskatchewan to rename the stadium Manitoba Stadium because all the big wins are Manitoba teams. First CFL playoff game. Who won? Winnipeg. First CFL game there. Who won? Winnipeg. And first Western final. Who won that one? Winnipeg. First hockey game there. Who won? That one, Winnipeg. We've been planning the parade all year long, and you guys laughed. But who's laughing now? And I'm the first guy setting foot in Calgary this week. And guess what? I'll be sending videos. I'll be sending stuff. You better count on it. All you guys laughed at me. Who's laughing now? Merry Christmas to every Winnipeg Blue Bomber fan.
Wow. Wow. Okay. We're going to Calgary now. Our Grey Cup correspondent is there, Mike Abu-Meshrik, 10-year CFL veteran, joining us from Grey Cup week.
Oh, hey!
He's got the Rod Pedersen Show. Mike, how you doing, Abu?
Great. How are you there in Regina? Can you hear me?
He's landed on the moon successfully, everybody.
A pick for the Grey Cup. This is very, very tough, man. I've been going back and forth with this since the finals, actually. So I'm going to have to – my heart says one thing, but my mind says another thing. This is tough, man. This is tough. But I'm going to go with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Wow. You completely flipped the script on me because my heart says Winnipeg, my head says Hamilton. What are you thinking about the game, Nick?
Well, first of all, Sean's lying. Everyone knows. It's not too early unless someone, hopefully, God forbid, goes down today or tomorrow in practice. But other than that, Winnipeg's going to use Andrew Harris, Dembski in the run game, Strevler in the run game, and change it up with Zach throwing the ball. That gives them a total different element. And it puts a lot on the front six or front seven of Hamilton. So if those guys can stop Strevler, because when you get within 3 or 4 yards and put Strevler in the game, it's so hard to stop him getting 3 to 4 yards. And it's so hard to stop them with La Police's offense doing a lot of misdirection. So they do have a chance, but I just think when Hamilton's too explosive and their offense is really explosive.
So you're going with Hamilton right out of the gate?
Yeah, I'm going Hamilton.
I don't know. Hamilton is explosive, and they've definitely got the machine to get it done. But Winnipeg just seems determined. They've played the better teams. They've shut down the better offenses, and I think that although that Trevor Harris game, Trevor came in and looked like the Trevor Harris that we all know. So the fact that Hamilton kind of handled their offense was impressive. But I definitely think that Winnipeg's kind of riding a wave right now that I think might put them over the hump.
Your take on the 107th Grey Cup. Have you made your pick yet?
I think I have. I'll be up front. I think I kind of made this pick prior to the playoffs at all. It just felt like it just has had a feel in the back half of the season that this was Hamilton's year to win. And I think they were a 15-win team for a reason.
Grey Cup 107 was a trip. And as you all know, I think it ended up 33-12 was the final score for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And I know sometimes I do need to be told what to do. I actually do. I don't like it. But with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, because we do so much CFL coverage on here, hours per day. I just saw all year long the Ticats talking about we're not getting enough credit. Not enough people are talking about us. And I thought, it doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter who's talking about you. And in the end, 15-3, the talk of the greatest team ever in Hamilton. Well, they're not, because if you don't win the Grey Cup, it's not going to matter. Just like the Patriots that went 16-0 and lost in this Super Bowl. Nobody talks about that team anymore, like the 72 Dolphins. So do you think, as we reflect on the actual Grey Cup game, that the 1999 Hamilton Tiger Cats are cheersing each other that they're still the greatest Ticat team ever? Because that's what the 72 Dolphins do, by the way.
They do. They get together, don't they?
That's so cool, I think.
Yeah, like celebrate it. Yeah, I don't know that they're cheersing, but they're still the number one team because you won. This team is pretty darn good, though, in Hamilton this year. And Orlando
They still got to show me a lot.
Coach of the year, record-setting 15 wins as a rookie head coach. Brandon Banks, most outstanding player in the league. Dane Evans coming off the bench. It's a good football team. But unfortunately, not a lot of people remember who finished second.
No.
And that's, I think, what it comes down to at the end of the day. If they had finished the job, I think they were easily the best team in Hamilton Tiger Cats history. But no, you got to go to 99. Danny McManus leading that team. For me, that's it.
Mike Moriali, Rob Hitchcock was a hell of a team. It actually was my first year in the CFL calling the games, and they pasted the Riders 62-7 at Ivor Wynne Stadium that year. I saw it firsthand, and to me, they're a far bit better than this Hamilton Tiger Cats team, by the way. You know, I'll wait until the next segment when we come back with our number one moment of the year to recognize one of our great sponsors all year long, Off the Coffee Table. I'll get you to grab that in the break if you don't mind.
Sure.
The number one moment of the Rod Pedersen Show New Year's Eve countdown is coming up next. You're watching the Rod Pedersen Show on Facebook Live.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends.
Every sale held in 2019 has led up to our biggest event of the year. Ring in the savings with year-end clear-out at Capital Ford Pre-Owned. We're making a list and checking it twice of the biggest savings on pre-owned vehicles this holiday season. 2018 F-150 XLT 4x4s are starting at just $29,999 plus tax. Plus, our entire inventory of used trucks is on sale. Ford, Chevy, Ram, and more. It's the most wonderful time of year at Ford of Canada's #1 pre-owned Ford store. Capital Ford Pre-Owned in Regina.
Locally owned and family operated. Emerald Water, refreshing the Rod Pedersen Show. From reverse osmosis to natural alkaline and distilled water, they are perfect for your home and office. Saskatchewan's #1 source for commercial alkaline with natural electrolytes and minerals that are better for your body. Naturally occurring magnesium, calcium, bicarbonate, and potassium are amazing for your health. Trust 30 years of experience and drink water that matters from Emerald Water.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. I wish I had a drum roll to play. The -- moment of the Rod Pedersen Show. New Year's countdown. New Year's Rockin' Eve. Coming your way. I feel like Dick, I was going to say Dick White. I feel like Dick Clark. I wish I was Dick White.
The ball's about to drop.
You old enough to remember Dick Clark?
Yeah.
You're
Dick Clark's
I'm
New
Dick
Year's
Clark.
Rockin' Eve.
He's Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, you know what? That is what it is. One day you'll pass
I'm
the
Jenny
torch.
McCarthy. He's Mariah Carey.
You'll pass the torch one day. And it'll still be called the Rod Pedersen Show, just like Ryan Seacrest and Dick Clark. I won't be able to get out of your shadow.
Do we have a time limit here? Because I want to tell my Times Square New Year's story.
Well,
before we get to the number one
I'll
moment.
tell you this. We're getting, at noon, we're getting up to noon, which is when the show's over. Have we ever shut down the show at 11:59 and 59 seconds?
Not really.
No.
I don't know. Our technical producer's here. Ryan, have we? Not that he
I don't
knows of.
think
Yes,
so.
exactly. So I wanted to do a big thank you to Perkin Taps. They're very close to our business manager, Tyler Gross. They are in Harbor Landing Village, and because of our sponsorship with them, our partner, I go there a lot with my wife. Got Lynch there going a lot with his football buddies.
Yep.
And Craig Smith. It's awesome, by the way.
Yep.
Really good coffee, really good treats. And every day for months, they've brought in these treats. And this lady who I've yet to meet writes a joke on the box. Anybody who watches this show every day would know I read the jokes on the air. And this one particularly tickled my funny bone the other day. She writes, autocorrect makes me say things I didn't Nintendo. That's good stuff, right? That's good stuff. So get down to Perkin Taps when you're nursing your hangover tomorrow or so forth, which reminds me of my story. Why not tell our best New Year's Eve stories? And I'm not even going to say this is the best New Year's Eve story, but it's one. It was a couple years ago. Go to New York with my wife, just the two of us, and because we're trying to do something new and cool on New Year's Eve. I don't even know if I ever told you this story.
I don't think so.
And trust me, stick with me. It's entertaining. Stayed in New Jersey which is just right across the river. It's not that far. Got a hotel room for $150 for the Holiday Inn chain, as opposed to $500 minimum just to stay in a rat-infested flea bag in Times Square on New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah.
You get it.
I get it. I've never been, but I get it.
Right. So I'm always up early, and as pretty much everybody knows that watches this show, I'm a recovering alcoholic. January 27th, 2019 will be my 5-year anniversary of not drinking. So this was just a couple years ago. I'm in New York. I Google, as my wife's in bed.
You mean 2020?
To tell you, 2020, sorry. My mind's stuck. Anyways, I Googled, my wife's still in bed at 7 a.m. on New Year's Eve. I'm in New Jersey, at a Dunkin' Donuts. And I Googled things to do New Year's Eve in New York. First thing that comes up on my Prairie Mobile iPhone is, congratulations, you and 2 million other tourists have come to Times Square to drink, party, and ring in the new year. I'm like, oh my God! I'm in the worst possible place I could be. And it just hit me that moment. They're all going to be drunk. They're all going to be smashed. This is going to be hell. I never thought about it till I got there.
Oh.
Sometimes one day at a time really bite you in the ass. So, anyways, I start talking to the locals, and they say, listen, you don't got to worry about that. Just go down, and every bar in Times Square, there's hundreds of them, bars and restaurants, sell tickets to their New Year's party. You'll get a wristband, right? And you can hang out in there, and you'll be safe. But 2 million people, it's not a joke.
No.
Nor an exaggeration. 2 million people come to a city of 8 million to bring in the new year. So that part's true. But they said, if you want to get down on the rail, the ones you see, which you're going to see tonight, those people have been there since 10 o'clock in the morning. A lot of them are wearing diapers.
Because you can't leave. There's no, oh, sorry, will you save my spot? That doesn't happen.
It's a cesspool. I'm like, what? What was I thinking coming here? So,
Happy New Year. Let's change the diapers.
Happy New Year. Anyways, Ryan loves it. Virgil's Barbecue is where we bought our tickets to. And we went down there around 9, hung out till midnight. Quite frankly, it was hell in a lot of ways. But at midnight, this is where it got great. Couple minutes, and who was doing the show? Jenny McCarthy, Mariah Carey, Ryan Seacrest. Trust me, when you're a sober person in a sea of drunks, the cops and security people really treat you well.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy's normal.
Yeah.
Come on in. Go wherever you want. And the ball dropped. And I think I still have videos of it. Dun, 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 New York, and everything. And there were some sailors there. There was some Russians there. And we're all partying. Streamers are going. I'm dancing with my wife. And it was quite fantastic, actually.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it was over, 12:03, it empties out like a Rider game.
Really?
Nobody hangs around.
Wow.
It was cold-ish. Yeah. It was like -8.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then people had to go home and change their diapers. The adults.
Oh my goodness.
So there's my story. I never told you that one.
No, that's unbelievable. Yeah, really, really cool. It's all something I think. Is it something you have to experience though, because it's the New York Times Square thing?
Well, yes, but I will say this: I've told my wife we can go back to New York, but we're not going back for New Year's nor winter. Because the very next day, I went to MetLife Stadium for a tour and froze my fingers taking pictures. I'm like, why am I paying to go somewhere to freeze? I can do that at home
for free.
For free.
Yeah.
So, would I suggest it? Yes, but just so you know, New York's cold.
Yeah, I believe it. That's cool.
Colder than you'd think.
Really cool. Cool.
Oh, and take diapers.
Yeah, take diapers, pack diapers, and hang out all day.
Oh, who would want to do that?
I don't know.
Anyways, thank you, Clark, for the rant. For Bronco Plumbing and Heating, your factory authorized Bryant furnace dealer. And that's it. We're down to number 1. The top 10 moments of the year on the Rod Pedersen Show. Number 10, our Labor Day weekend, Labor Day Classic pregame show and all-star charity football game. It was fantastic. Number 9, the Players Only Show, the Player Takeover with Nick Lewis and friends. Number 8, Andrew Harris steroid suspension and the reaction as it came in live while we were on the air on August 26th. Number 7, our VIP trip to Houston with Uniglobe LGI Travel. The whole weekend is the number 7 moment. Number 6, Rod versus the CFL. And we had a montage of clips of my barbs with other CFL personalities. Number 5 was Kevin Glenn announcing his retirement on his 40th birthday live here on episode number 8 of the program. June 12th, I believe, right, Ryan? Number 4 was the Pimps and Whores rant. Don't ask. Just go back and watch for yourself. Number 3, best of guests in a montage of all the biggest names in sports across the land right here on this show. Number 2 was Grey Cup 107 and the wonderful week that we had leading up to the Calgary Grey Cup and the Bomber win and the fantastic guests we had here. And number 1, which, did you choose it or did it win by vote?
It was a little bit of both. To me, I kind of chose it, I think. And I think most people agreed. It kind of had to be number 1. It really did.
Well, say it.
You want me to?
The number 1 moment in 3, 2, 1. Episode 100.
Yeah, it's 1 to 100. It's kind of a mix of both. Our first episode and our 100th episode combined. I mean, the number 1 episode, the number 1 moment has to be getting on the air, right? The fact that we just got on and started the show is huge. And to get all the way to 100 episodes and to where we are now, 2 very monumental milestones in what's been an amazing year, episode 1 and episode 100. It had to be the top moment for me.
It's a montage, and we have a clip, right?
Yeah.
Of episode 1 and 100, the number 1 moment in our year-end countdown. It is the maiden voyage of the program. It is indeed, Darren, a new era of sports talk here in this province and on Facebook Live as well, which we're going to get into some of the details of how we got here. We're not going to do a real deep dive or long story. We're going to jump into the deep end of the sports talk here in moments. Everybody knows who I am and why we're here. But this particular program that we're launching today has been more a dream of yours than a dream of mine for quite some time. So before we get to our first guest, which is Gary Lawless of the Vegas Golden Knights, coming up in moments, maybe just your thoughts on why we're on the air today with this program.
Well, it's funny. I don't know if you would have thought we'd be here a year from now, or even 5-6 months from earlier prior to today. But no, it's cool. It has. It's been a dream of mine ever since I think we started doing shows together live in the cage. We were doing training camp shows when I was up in Saskatoon still. That's when it started, right? And then we turned into last summer coming in and then moving to Regina. That's when it really started, and I knew that, hey, we needed to do this because there's so much more that can be done. There's such just look at the people who are watching now. Enough people to crash the feed. I mean, that's how much people want this, right? So it's an underserved market, and this gives people a chance to get served in a whole new way.
Marshall Hamilton's
They're all
legs
trending
are...
on my legs. Like, what's going on? Do I got to start wearing jeans now?
Was it in the commercial break you asked if you had to shave your legs for the show?
And by the way, Mike Abumeshik, who thinks that I've waxed my legs, no, there's lots of hair on those legs. But, I appreciate all the comments about my legs trending on Twitter. Not even sure what that means at my age. But
Trending in Canada.
Trending in Canada. But, if you like the comfortable look, happy to continue to wear shorts. But if you think I should start putting on my coat and tie, then go find another guest.
Hey, I'm glad. Look, same thing.
He's got
same thing. Actually, I had my legs up on the desk yesterday. Paul was over there. Paul and I are of a similar generation. I said, did Letterman not put his legs up on his desk? He did, didn't he? And Paul said, yes, when he was sick of his bosses and fed up near the end, he put his legs up on the desk. So show one, I'm not putting the legs up just yet, and we'll just admire Marshall's legs here for a while. Somebody just wrote in and said that you should be standing off to the side of the set. Is that what you, Kyle? Did you write that? Or you just think it's funny? Here it is. Congrats, Roddy. Oh, there's a lot of congratulations here. Somebody said you should be on sunglasses on a keyboard to the side. You know what they're referring to? Paul Schaefer. Oh, you are old enough.
I'm good.
Paul
Don't worry.
Schaefer.
Can you play the piano?
You know what? When I was a kid, and my mom will be watching and she'll love that I'll say this. I used to play the piano, and Music Vessels actually won an award. Got $85 when I won.
You're getting to a point,
but I couldn't play it now. That's my point. My point is, I dropped it because it wasn't cool,
you're playing it,
but I could not play to save my life now.
So it depends on your age demographic here. Somebody said, I'm Johnny Carson, you're Ed McMahon. You get it, right, Marshall? David Letterman, Paul Schaefer.
And I'm Marilyn Monroe because of the legs, right?
Right. This is so disturbing where this conversation went with Marshall Hamilton and his legs.
I can, Rod. Rod, I have to say, it's great to see you, and welcome to the show. Congratulations. But I prefer the cartoon Bitmoji version of Rod Pedersen, almost a little more to the real thing. It's a great likeness of you.
I just can't believe how good you look, and happy summer, my friend. We hope to bring you on soon.
Anytime you want me on, for you, Rod, it's my pleasure. And we'll have more hanging plants next time.
All right. His wife was making a cameo. All this was fantastic. Hey, and we're live. Good morning, Canada. And Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show. As clearly the whole world knows by now, episode number 100. Holy smokes. Welcome to the show. Because it's going to be, I think, just a regular show, but with a star-studded group of guests. And we welcome into the bunker, first time ever, Rod Pedersen Show rookie, Bob Poley.
Rookie?
How are you, Robert?
I'm doing great,
When's the last time he got called a rookie?
Jesus. I'm old, you know.
You said that Mama Poley kind of got you onto this show because she's a Facebook vet. You're not. Similar to Joanne Aldag and Raj. Are you noticing that it is or have you heard that it is it's almost like a variety show? It's like kind of like the Gong Show in the 70s. We talk about everything.
One-stop shop.
It's a one-stop shop.
There you go.
That's what you've heard?
You get everything. Yeah. It's been great.
Congratulations again on the 100th show, Rod, and thanks for having me on a couple times already. I really appreciate it. And, I'll let Grant know that I'm absolutely your favorite.
Poley loves this. Look at him.
What flag is that?
It's
Sheldon?
Norway.
Call him Sheldon.
Trent writes in, Norway calling. We have uncovered the true origin of the term spud nuts. What? Thanks to Poley for that. That's donuts with chunks of potatoes in them. Which oddly I'd be interested in trying.
They're not chunks. It's mashed potatoes mixed in.
Sorry.
God.
From Becky Poley, watching, I can only imagine, from beautiful British Columbia today. Hi, Dad. Love your favorite child. Let's go out on video chat to welcome our next guest on the 100th episode of the Rod Pedersen Show, and that is Canadian Football Hall of Famer, class of 2010, Pro Football record holder of many records, Donald Narcisse. Good morning, Don. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Rod? Man, I really appreciate you. Rod, I want to tell you this, man. When I had moved back to Canada, you was the first one that reached out and let me use your platform on having this football camp. And I did it for 7 years, man. And I'm telling you, man, I really appreciate it.
I'm doing pretty good.
You always doing great.
Yeah, well, I can't complain. You know, it's I kind of stumble along and everything else, hoping that the left leg gets a little stronger. It seems to be coming and so forth. So that's all you can ask for. So I get up in the morning, do my exercises, and away I go.
Well, you've always had the right attitude, the right look at I could just sit here and just stare at you two for a while. Well, several comments coming in. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I loved how George always slowly walked back to the huddle. Then the next play, he'd go for 10 or more yards. Was that true, George? Was that when you were catching your breath?
Yeah. You know, they didn't pay me to run back to the huddle. They paid me to go ahead and so forth. So the only way I could get a little breath, because it was time that Ronnie said you're gonna carry the ball. It might be 5 times in a row and so forth, and that's the only time I had a chance to rest. And they also kind of fool people. He's dragging back. He's not going to do anything the next go, and bang, here I am. So that's what it was all about. But that was one way that I rested.
My name's on it, but it's a very large team, and a lot of them are in the bunker. So let's have a little party, folks, and thanks for coming down. Thanks to the team that puts this together, of course, and there would be no us without you. We'll see you tomorrow right here on The Rod Pedersen Show on Facebook Live and iHeartRadio. We'll see you tomorrow. Look out, Paul.
That's me.
There you have it, the number one moment of the Rod Pedersen Show 2019, a montage of episode 1 and episode number 100. If I may, out of the two, I quite enjoyed number 100 far more. Right? With it actually was an all-star guest of our cast that you and Clark put together, and that was a lot more fun. Things were running a lot more tickety-boo.
Yeah.
Real nice, Clark.
It wasn't on...
By 100 versus number 1.
Well, and 100 was great. And you saw George Reed in that clip. And I thought that was hilarious, the clip we just showed about him talking about... You asked him about walking back to the huddles. And they didn't pay me to walk back to the huddles. Paid me to run for first downs. But on the way out of here, because we've got the stairs in here, right? The stairs on the way up. And he comes up, and George Reed just got the GoFundMe page, raised a bunch of money to get his knees done. And, that's amazing. Really amazing. And he has the walker. But he made it all the way up the stairs. And he was not taking any help. He wouldn't ask for a single bit of help. Now, and I offered. He wouldn't take it. He took his time, got up the stairs. And I remember on the way out, you were yelling at him, George, thanks so much for coming. And he turns back. He's like, yeah, thank you. And he turns back and he says, the next time I'm here, get a goddamn elevator.
That would be George.
It was pretty
doesn't
funny.
beat around the bush too much. At 80, why would you?
Yeah.
This was shortly after his 80th birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's been a hell of a year. There's our top 10 moments. It's just fitting that we've got a lot of our crew in here today. Ryan on the couch, Clark in here, Bryn, Jordan. Is Jordan here? I didn't see him. Not saying anything. He's always so quiet. Paul is not here. I think he's taking his pet iguana, Ricky, for a walk, last I checked. They're all laughing over here.
He loves that pet iguana. Won't go anywhere without it.
Wouldn't you? Especially road trips. Any thoughts? Here we go, our best moment of 2020. I know it's driving people crazy when we tease them about what's coming up in 2020. I know it's mean. But at the very least, it's got to keep you engaged for what's coming up in 2020, because I'm particularly excited about it. And as I said earlier on in this program, I can get why the media thinks that we're a fly-by-night, by the seat of your pants outfit that's going to be out of business tomorrow. But then it dawned on me, they don't know what we know.
They don't know what
They don't know what's coming. And so I get it.
Yeah, I do too. And it's funny because the people, when you come on the trips and you become really part of the inner circle, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so you have our cell phone numbers. You get all that stuff when you come on these trips. And
I think they call it experiential marketing.
Yeah,
Isn't that what they call it?
you become part of the club. And so they're all texting, right? Even right now, they're texting me as they hear this. And I got a couple in this morning, and they're saying things like, okay, can you tell me what it is? I won't tell you. Can you tell me? Tell me what's the big news. What's coming? And it's like, stay tuned. We can't tell you.
Because it is business.
Oh, it is, for sure. But it's exciting. And that's the greatest part about this, is how much fun it is building something like this. That's great.
And everybody here is part of it. And everybody here is on board.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, you are a student of war history, right? Yes. And they say the armies that win the war is when the soldiers all know the plan. Good way to leave it, right?
Good way to leave it.
So thank you for tuning in, everybody, for our Facebook Live presentation of our New Year's countdown. And we will see you on Thursday. New Year's Day is off. And coming up Thursday, you got something? Oh, yeah, that. Coming up Thursday, Kelly Rempel, the Silver Fox, Jared Dumba, one of our hockey insiders, Jason Greger from TSN Edmonton to talk some Oilers and Eskimos, Zach Medeiros, Argos kicker. Friday, John Frenzy, Jermaine Robinson of the Argos, Delvin Bro, Ticats Corner, and Ben Cahoon. I will always say it that way.
Yeah. He's a legend.
Ben Cahoon. Good work, Clark. And that's it. We're done. As I knock over my Christmas cards here from everybody. You ready?
Yeah.
Can we put it on the 2-shot, as they say? In 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! And we'll see you on Thursday at 10 a.m. Central right here on Facebook Live. Boom.
Happy New Year.
While there's smoke, there's crack!